Reason of why Sao sucks #1. The fandom is retarded.
Sounds strange to have as a reason something that is not directly affiliated with the show and has to do with its fans. It's not strange at all. I'm making this video exactly because of them. A mediocrity like Sao is the most overhyped and overrated anime of 2012. At the same time, an innovating and quality title such as Shinsekai Yori gets neglected. Thanks for telling the industry what type of shows to make in the future, you idiots! So why do they hype it anyway? Because the premise is good, and that's the only thing they cared about. Dude, this is an anime about video games! Yeah, they play video games, and there's this amazing world, and they die and they don't respawn, and they're trapped inside and need to beat 100 super bosses, and there's this cool dude with a huge sword, and all the girls love him, and he's so tragic, and dude! Video games, big swords and chicks! Amazing, isn't it? Yes, it is amazing! As a basic idea, how about everything else? Like, let's say, the plot, or character development, action, romance, or consistency in the rules of the game? You didn't give a damn about those, did you? You just hyped and threw perfect score in it just because you liked the description. What is so freaking amazing about the idea anyway? It's not even original. Hell, there are so many anime with video games that aired close to Sao. Hell, Hunter x Hunter did the exact same thing a decade ago, and it does the same thing right now in the remake. Hell, there are cartoons and movies from the 80s with the exact same story. Do you see anyone hyping those, huh? No! It's because of the gaming terminology, right? It made you feel just like home. Like shonen fans who like Gintama a lot, because it is constantly referring a lot of stuff from their favorite shows. Familiarity, baby! And of course you didn't care one bit about the constant plot holes. That's right, the terminology is only mentioned, but it's hardly making any sense throughout the show. But you didn't care about that, did you?
Reason of why Sao sucks #2. The presentation of the show seems lax severely.
We are told thousands of players died in a few weeks. We'd never see that, which automatically makes the whole tragedy of the event completely superficial. We are told they need to fight 100 super bosses. They show us only 4, and even those are defeated easily thanks to the protagonist's hack skills and plot armor. We were expecting grinding, farming and buffing battles. They gave us shit. We were expecting 25 episodes of engaging plot, where everybody's constantly trying to survive, levels up, and is always pressing forward. They gave us shit. The death game ends midway, half of the death game episodes are fillers, and half of the half are just harem comedy. The actual plot of this show is approximately 3 full episodes. All the rest are bullshit. Most set game mechanics will matter only in the same episode they are introduced. You will never see or hear about them in the later episode. All secondary characters do not have a role in the plot past the episode they are introduced. They will become background decoration afterwards. All feats the protagonist accomplishes will be forgotten in a few episodes by everybody. It's like they never happened in the first place.
Reason of why Sao sucks #3. The game mechanics are stupid.
Even if you try to accept the broken rules and the unexplained gameplay as they are, everything still feels stupid as hell. Take the very objective of the whole Sao game, for example. All you have to do in order to win is to kill all the bosses. And if you think this means a lot of hard work and endless hours of farming, equipping and buffing, you are wrong. Every boss doesn't respawn. If someone beats it once, it will never return, and not every player needs to kill at least once in order to advance to the next level. Only a dozen hardcore players are enough to clear the whole game by doing the above troublesome procedure, while all the rest can do absolutely nothing. They can be sleeping in town, and when they hear the boss is beaten, they can just go to the next level. They don't even need to walk through dangerous areas in order to get to the next town, since they can just use an easily acquired teleportation crystal. The game is also not really as deadly as they want you to believe. Just don't do anything or go farming past the easy areas. There is no time limit, so no reason to hurry. That means anyone who gets killed in this game is a total idiot, and you have no reason to feel sad for doing something completely retarded. And to add to all the confusion, several rules don't even matter after a while. The author will constantly be rewriting them for the sake of retarded plot twists, thus ruining even the very main appeal of the show. Any sense of danger is lost when you realize the system will make sure the protagonist will always be overpowered, will never lose, and will be the guaranteed victor in all the time just because he is the protagonist. He is the only one with the ultimate skills, the only one whose statistics transfer from other games to the new one, so he doesn't have to start from scratch. They keep saying you don't feel pain in the game when they otherwise clearly feel pain. And how the devil can you have orgasms in the game when pleasure and pain can't exist separately? Stealing main equipment from other players can trash completely the balance of the game, you idiot! Admin items can't be used by players, you idiot! Hey look, a barrier nothing can go through. Oh, forget that. A ghost that can change game privileges as it sees fit? Do I really need to comment on that? And I love how it waited for the last moment to do that, but it could always do it anytime it wanted! But I gotta admit, the show is great at managing to fool you into believing it has no plot holes. It never clearly shows you how the game is played, so you need to use your imagination to fill the holes. Thus it manages to hide its lousy writing and present itself as mysterious at the same time. Not that this can work with someone who is actually smart. I could clearly tell them the author was constantly ass-pulling stuff and just didn't bother to explain them. The fans would then run to excuse it by mentioning games they somehow, somewhere, somewhat have a few similarities to SAO, and thus every game mechanic makes sense. Which of course is bullshit. There are so many video games out there, and one of them is bound to have a mechanic to excuse the unexcused. In case you didn't know, every game needs to make sense on its own, not by being compared to other games. But no, the fanboys are stupid enough to believe that since the anime never shows how it works, everything you say may as well be the truth. Okay then, why don't they grow bigger when they eat mushrooms or throw fireballs when they smell daisies? The fanboys are again trying to excuse that by saying we don't know how video games will be in the future, so it's wrong to mention rules that apply to current games. First they say they love the game terminology, now they say it doesn't even apply, meaning they don't give a damn about if it makes sense. They only care if they hear about words that have to do with video games. They eventually admit the gameplay is full of crap, and still excuse it by saying there are lots of imbalanced games out there being played by thousands of people, just because! Yes. The exact same reason everything works in this show. Just because! Hey, not bad for a beginning. People are playing a video game and then an evil dude turns the whole thing into a death trap. Let's see how exciting this survival game will be. Random time skip and we are told thousands died. How tragic. Too bad it happens out of screen! This is not how you make a thrilling show, you idiotic scriptwriter! Ah, our hero meets his sweetheart. What a lovely moment. She's wearing this cloak because she's hiding from man. Yeah, what a great way to not attract attention by looking like Red Riding Hood standing in the middle of a blue screen of death. I hear in the novel when she takes it off, the whole room shines with her beauty. This girl's stealth skill is minus 50. So the hero beats the bad monster and gets the super item, of course, in a thrilling battle that lasts half a minute and consists mostly of static images. Great animation, you guys. They move so fast to the point they make all the rest of the people that were supposed to be in the room to disappear. He then tries to heal an injured guy who refuses it. I had to be told from someone who reads the novels that it's because his life was already at 0 and he was basically in his death throes. Or should I call it lag? Whatever, the director made it look like the dude wanted to die when he was otherwise dead set on surviving a minute earlier. Great food for thought you left us there, Mr. Director. We were discussing what happened there for 3 days and us pulling stuff like guilt, chains of heart, and brainwashing while trying to figure out the thing you so cleverly hid. Everybody flips because the hero is accused of being a beta tester, because that gives him an unfair advantage next to those who aren't. How dare he cheat in this game and getting all the special items easier? It's not like this is a death trap where you're trying to survive and not have fun getting good loot. It's not like the faster someone becomes stronger, the faster he will progress with the game, the faster he will clear it, and the faster we'll all go home. Go on, keep nagging like spoiled dorks who don't enjoy their video game because somebody's trying to free you from it. Video games are serious business after all. So the hero admits he's a beta tester and even pretends he exploited them in order for all the blame to drop on him. Otherwise the idiots will start killing each other for something they should be praising. Everybody then starts bitching at him, except for the broad who falls in love with him for admitting he exploited her. Women logic, or should I call it wishful thinking? Yeah, dorks, you wish women would love you for treating them like shit. In the meantime, the only thing the fans were yelling all this time was, "Yay, raid party!" and completely missed everything else I said about the episode. So the hero leaves his guild with the broad next to him, vows never to join another guild and to be a solo player forever, until we get a random time skip. The broad has magically disappeared, the hero has magically joined another guild, and even saved all their lives, all of which happened out of screen! No reason to waste time on those minor events, right? As long as we are told they happened in a passage, they are equally tragic. Use your imagination to fill the blanks, people, it's not that hard. Disregard the fact this is a series and not a book. Oh wow, another girl falls in love with him in a few days, even though she's surrounded by many other men in her guild that she knows and trusts for years. It's not like any of them ever try to cheer her up, just trust a complete stranger to do that for ya. Makes sense in all the Aero games I know of. Disregard the fact she's supposed to be a real person. So the hero manages to give them courage to keep living instead of committing suicide. Upon succeeding, they decide the best thing they can do to celebrate this is to go farming in a very hard dungeon. Nice logic there, fellows, much different to suicide. So they find a secret room with a treasure chest inside, which turns out to be a death trap. Lol, this is so overkill. Why place traps in places that it's hard to get to? And here I thought games should reward you for doing things right. Silly me, it's a death trap. Of course, and it tries to kill you. Disregard the super equipment you get by beating bosses. Oh no, the team gets wiped out. This is so tragic. And chances are we would actually find it tragic if we knew them for more than 10 minutes. But it's okay, I know many people who would find something like that tragic. It's the same people who love the romance in Titanic and Twilight movies. Romance between people who just met and then tragedy falls in less than an hour. You know, the hero could have easily saved them all. He wasn't just standing there like an idiot with his mouth open before his brain reminded him he's supposed to fight for his life. But sadly that event took place in a cutscene where you need to tolerate any forced drama regardless of it being easily avoidable. So the hero's last man standing, and after the cutscene is over, he fights back. He survives and defeats all the monsters. How? I have no idea, since all that happens out of screen! But it's okay, it's not like it was an important event to show us how he survived a seemingly impossible situation or something trivial like that. Use your imagination, people, what are you, stupid? Then the hero goes to this special event where Santa Claus drops Phoenix Downs. Everybody wants that item because this way they can resurrect the dead and save lives. So they manage to do that by killing each other instead of teaming up to defeat Santa. Yeah, that is totally gonna save lives. So we have this scene where man fights man for the survival of the fittest. It's a most tragic event that would depict how cruel is life in this death game. Too bad it wasn't even shown, but it's okay, we can just use an imagination. So, since everybody's busy not doing what they're supposed to, the hero is free to go kill Santa all alone. Creepy. And since he's alone, that means it will be a hard battle, right? I have no idea they skipped that scene as well, but it's okay, it's not like it would be proper thing to show Santa Claus being brutally murdered. So the hero was a good boy for killing Christmas and is rewarded with an item that can resurrect the dead. Disregard the fact that we are told the moment somebody dies his brain gets fried and there is no way you can resurrect him. It's the magic of Christmas, which he killed. Anyways, he got a Phoenix Dawn. Very useful the next time somebody dies in front of him, right? I have no idea, the damn thing is never seen again the whole show. In fact, he gets bored and throws it away. What was the point of that whole event? Besides ruining the happiness for billions of children. In the meantime, the only thing the fans were yelling all this time was, "Yay, special events!" and completely missed everything I said so far. No present for you this year! Another random time skip, and now all of a sudden there are pets in the game which support you in battle. The fans all go apeshit by yelling, "Yay, pets!" It will be very interesting in the future, right? I have no idea, you'll never see them again for the rest of the show. Stupid lolly doesn't even know the fundamentals of this game. Look at it casually giving away all her teleportation crystals and traveling along the wilderness. And then they want us to believe it managed to survive all this time and get to level 40. Sure thing, Sporty! What a better way to offer character development than to show her in her undies. And by the way, she's a minor! I can totally see the action survival video game aspect of this show if you get lolicon tentacle hentai scenes like this one. Strange how we never see a male being attacked like that. But it's okay, the hero will always be there to save it by those phallic looking beasts all the time. After he of course sits still and watches it being molested for a few minutes. The hero befriended the loli only because it wanted to use it as bait in order to lure some pedo bandits. Deep tactics! And the loli responds by falling in love with a guy which shamelessly exploited her like that. Okay. At this point you may wonder why are the bandits ambushing players who are completing very hard tasks they can complete themselves. Didn't it ever occur to them those players may be too strong for them? Or why did the hero even need to lure to begin with if he has super senses to find them on his own by spilling the air from the next continent? There is a very logical explanation for this. So we can have tentacles! If dual wielding is a unique ability, why is one of the bandits holding two axes? So the hero arrests the bandits without even trying since he's that overpowered, of course, and teleports them to prison. Out of screen! It's not like it would be awesome to show a magical portal opening and a prison appearing to suck them into hell or something. We needed to save precious time to show more important things such as tentacles! By the way, there is a prison apparently somewhere in the game and we are never told what it is, how it works, much less how it looks. Use your imagination! And apparently people have auto-regeneration in this game and yet it is the only thing they bother to show us that. In all the other battles the health bars only drop and never rise again over time. Very consistent! Or maybe they work only in logical hentai episodes.
Another random time skip when the hero meets a blacksmith who can help him create stronger weapons. The fans scream, "Yay, forging!" Very useful later episodes. Oh, you know the drill by now. Never mentioned again. This blacksmith is actually a cute girl who is looking for a boyfriend, and she chooses the hero out of all the available male candidates in the game. Why? Because he's the only male character we see in the whole episode. Yeah, we totally see why he's the best amongst all others who came and went into that place. And of course the blacksmith falls in love with him after she met him for one day. He destroyed her best sword for no reason and endangered her life several times. Just imagine what would she have done if he was actually being nice to her. Isn't it funny how they keep saying all the players in this game have their real faces? Yet we never see any ugly girls falling for the protagonist? What is the point of saying they look as if they really are, if they all look like they're in an idol agency? And pink hair? Her hair is colored normally outside the game. What is that? There may be a feature that allows you to color your hair in the game. Did we ever see this in any other place than our imaginary plot hole correction? These are the last girls the hero seduces in this game, and you must admit that for a world where girls are at a crushing minority, analogically he has conquered enough hearts to fill China.
Another random time skip, and now the hero is for the first broad again, just because. And she is now the second in command and the most powerful girl in the game. Why? Because she spent all her skill points in cooking, a completely useless skill. Makes sense, right? We have seen nothing that makes her worthy of the rank, nor was she given a single command in later episodes. Get there she is, second in command, just because. They plan to defeat a boss by luring it into a town. The fans now yell, "Yay, wandering bosses!" Disregard how they never told us the bosses can leave their room, they now can. Also disregard how we are never told if there is more than one type of bosses. Also disregard how we never see said boss in general, and how we never see if they ever defeated it, or if they even fought it, or even if it existed in the first place. Anyways, the heroes against this plan we never see anything about, because it will require for some NPCs to die, and because he's so against killing and respects life, he doesn't even want the computer programs to die. Disregard how they are not even alive to begin with, how they respond even when you kill them, and how they will save real lives without anyone getting hurt. As how you never kill countless monsters to get where you are, you fucking hypocrite. And if you so much want to save lives, why do you waste the whole day sleeping afterwards, eh? What is that you say? All of a sudden living inside the video game is fine, you damn self-insert protagonist. And I love how the broad is so against his attitude, but after a few lines from him, she gets all passive and obedient. Yeah, dynamic and strong-willed women, second in command of the strongest guild, right there. Then the hero changes his attitude once again just because, and decides to find the killer of a strange murder mystery. Don't you just love the completely random mood swings? He's not even a woman. Man, I love how he claims it's a very serious issue to find the killer. I mean, just look how scared and worried is everybody else because of this killer. They don't give a damn. Hey, Mr. Director, for a threat to be threatening, you need to show it somehow. Just saying. You expect some line of thought that makes sense and pinpoints the culprit in a logical way? Forget it! He finds out what happens by complete accident and by revealing stuff we never knew beforehand at the last second, so we could never figure it out on our own. That is totally what I call foreshadowing. He was totally oblivious in 1 second, and without showing us any line of thought, voila! He connects all the dots in a way that Sherlock Holmes couldn't even dream of. Majestic mystery story is majestic, and the funniest part is how his logic is against the rules of the game. We're told that any consumable item you drop on the floor gets immediately vaporized. That is not what we see in the ending of the third episode, when he dropped that Phoenix Down ball. So then we get this lame-ass confrontation, where the suspect is stalked by fake assassins, who are stalked by real assassins, who are stalked by the protagonist, who is stalked by the real mastermind of this whole case, who is stalked by the broad, and then they are just waiting to appear in line, as if it is a theater play. This is one shitty Thanatos roulette. Love the characterization of the mastermind, gloating and laughing like a maniac who kills women for having free will and personality. How dare they do that in hentai game? Oh wait, this is supposed to be an MMO. What a shock it is hearing this jackass being such a chauvinistic pig, and it would be tragic too if the hero wasn't doing the exact same thing to all the chicks he seduced, but it's somehow okay when he does it. Despite this jackass being full of himself, all it takes is for a single short comment by the broad to fall on his knees, begging for forgiveness, as if all of a sudden he realized all the sadistic orgasms he had all this time with the woman he killed was just a bad thing. She barely said anything, and we get this 180 degrees mood swing out of nowhere. And then they just leave him there. They don't even bother to send him to prison, as if they should. Suppose that single comment was enough to mentally punish him for as much as he deserved. Those pedo bandits did far less things, and now they're sent to prison, and this guy gets away with a mindless scolding. And you stupid broad, talking all big and mighty to that asshole. You're in love with a guy who's exactly like that! Oh well, this marks the end of the random filler episodes. Afterwards, the plot becomes more focused. That means the show will be far better here on, right? Of course not!
The Broad is still pretending to be the sub-leader of the most powerful guild in existence, and proves that by doing nothing but cooking, having her own bodyguard being completely disobedient, and running to the hero for help instead of trying to prove how the devil she got her rank. Remember how she was supposed to be a dynamic and independent woman? The author show doesn't. The bodyguard mentions that all players know the hero is a cheater, something which is proven by all the random chicks he was seducing all this time, and they had no clue who he is. But remember, women don't count as players in hentai games, which pretend to be MMOs. Oh my, the overused boob grabbing joke. And of course it's the hero's fault she fell with her melons on his face. But it's okay, she forgives him 5 seconds after she slapped and accused him of sexual harassment. Don't tell me that slap didn't hurt. They are otherwise not supposed to feel any pain at all. So the hero duels the bodyguard just to show off how overpowered he is. Of course! But the Broad intervenes and stops him, something which is impossible to happen in a PvP mode. Next up, the Broad making sandwiches for the hero, as she valiantly defends her from a horde of horny ugly fat otakus. Gotta prove who's important to the plot. It's not like all players have equal chances to be overpowered chick magnets for no fucking reason. Then a bunch of other players appear and they all claim that they will save everyone instead of the hero. Could it be that they are actually now worthy rivals in the show? Nah, they're all weak, injured, and the animators didn't even bother to draw them differently, so we could believe that even for a second that these guys actually stand a chance. Gotta prove who's important to the plot. The scriptwriter is doing his best to make them look like complete retards before him. They are half dead and actually go to find a boss? How is it humanly possible for 20 people to be surrounded by one monster? And how the devil did they manage to corner themselves on the other side of the room instead of being close to the exit just in case something goes wrong? This whole ridiculous thing was done just so the hero can save the day, as he always does, and defeat the boss by himself. Of course, he is even using an overpowered super skill nobody else in the game is allowed to have, because this game is so balanced that it rewards overpowered players by making them even more overpowered.
If you had such a powerful skill, why weren't you using it all this time?
Because I didn't want people to think that I'm a cheater.
But you are a cheater and everybody already knows it.
Well, in that case, it was because I didn't want others to pest me to join in their guild since I'm overpowered.
But everybody already knows you're overpowered.
Well, then it's because I didn't want people to die.
But people died because you weren't using the skill this time.
Well, fuck you, I'm the protagonist.
Oh, you're so sweet. I don't mind how you constantly lie and cheat on me. Here's a sandwich.
So the Broad wants to go shag with the hero. Why? Because her love for him matured in the past 2 years, something we clearly see in all those 20 minutes that we're together all this time, and apparently she didn't mind all the orgies he had so far with other women. But what is this? The guild master refuses to let her take a few days off? She is very important to the guild, something we were so clearly shown numerous times. Oh wait, we didn't. All we saw her doing is being completely useless to even control her own bodyguard. Important to the guild, my ass. They probably need her for their daily dosage of eye candy. No wonder the guild is so big. Without her present, everyone is going to drop out. Hey, Virgin Gamers, are you even aware this is a death game you are trapped in? The Broad protests, but the guild master doesn't give a damn. Girls don't have rights in harem games. Maybe they do in MMOs, but this is not such a game. Worry not, people who do have rights appear, and by that of course I mean the hero. He's a dude, his opinion matters. So the two of them settle their differences in the only possible way anything ever does in an average shonen: violence. The hero loses because the guild master is a better fighter with far superior tactics in battle. My ass! He's an even bigger cheater and with even bigger broken powers. Brains had nothing to do with it. God forbid we had that in a video game. Man, the hero is so nerfed all of a sudden. He's so easily paralyzed by a nobody. But worry not, as the Broad finds out about it and runs to the rescue. And by finds out, I mean stalking his life signs since the very second he left her. Her life means nothing without him around. She has nothing better to do than waiting him impatiently to return, so she might as well stalk him from afar. You love that shit, don't you porn gamers? So the power of waifuism is so strong in her that she teleports half a continent away in 3 seconds. Here it is, guys, a most amazing romantic scene. Man, I'm so tired. Poof!
Oh, so you want to fuck me?
No, bitch, I just said I want to sleep. Just how stupid are you?
I hate you!
Psh, I didn't feel that.
But I will let you fuck me anyways!
Woman logic.
No coincidence, this is Error 69. This is the part where the characters do the hubba hubba. But because the show is just a spineless harem and not an awesome hentai, all the sex has been substituted with the word play. Let's play the doctor. Let's play on the table. This playing game is so hard to fuck. Don't anyone ask how you can feel pleasure but not pain in this game, when they're basically the same thing. Not even the author does. The Broad keeps acting like a 12-year-old with a crush instead of a woman who has been playing for weeks.
I'm so shy to ask how old he is.
You were supposed to be with him for 2 years and you never bothered to find out.
Don't look at my panties! please, it's so embarrassing.
He already seen your panties and done far more with what's inside them.
Yeah, scary ghost.
It's obviously not.
Second in command of the most powerful guild, my ass. They get so attached to the little girl they met a few hours ago without even talking to her much. They are even calling her their child. They knew all their lives. You met her a few hours ago. Virtual child creation is apparently a feature of the game. Never mentioned before, never explained, never shown ever again. The army of identical idiots is back, and now they fail even at being street bullies stealing candies from kids. They are so worthless, even the bimbo can beat them without even using weapons. The broad finally does something right by beating those losers. Great achievement any nobody could do. Plus the hero was right there too, so he could just do it himself if he wasn't so bored. Again, no pain is supposed to exist in the game, but the bullies are clearly getting a feedback that counts as one. These rules make less sense than a story written by Kubo. Now there's an orphanage in the game for very young players. I bet this will be important later on.
Not.
There are also hidden dungeons with very powerful monsters we will see later on.
Not.
The hero goes to that very dangerous area and takes the little girl with him just because she insisted. Yeah, don't mind, it is full of dangerous monsters, you don't want to be around people, and you don't want to endanger lives. Great consistency in your characterization there. Love how they knew they were heading towards a powerful monster and still managed to get themselves ambushed. Wonder what would have happened if they weren't prepared. Just as the hero is about to lose, we get more random ass-pulls as the little girl is more powerful than he is. Anything to make sure the hero will become more overpowered than he already is instead of using tactics in battle. We are supposed to find the story of the little girl tragic at this point, and chances are we would if we knew her for more than half an hour. Look at them crying over a person they met 2 days ago who is not even real. As if the hero wasn't god level already, he is now revealed out of nowhere to be a great hacker as well. And then they want us to believe he's not a cheater. Anyways, him being a hacker is very important later on. Not! It is impossible to change the entire encoding of the game and turn people to objects via a console that has administrative privileges while he's just a player. Furthermore, he did all that in 3 seconds. And of course, he didn't use that precious time to do something more important, such as making the final boss be deleted so everybody would be free. He just had to waste his one perfect chance to save a fake Moe blob he barely knew for a few days. Filler time once again. Since we had too much plot so far, we get an amazing fishing episode where the hero is chased around by a derp fish and the broad is surrounded by horny runners who are so jealous of not being the self-insert protagonist. More phallic dominance by having the broad taking a vow to kill herself if something happens to the hero. Remember when his past guild got wiped out? He got over it and moved on to create his own harem. Because he's a dude, girls are obligated to be obedient to their one and only boyfriends. If something happens to him, they must commit suicide because there is no way they can get over it. Then we get some random shit about things that happened before and were just thrown in the story right now. Like the real bodies being probably in a hospital and rotting away slowly. It would be interesting if it was mentioned in the first episodes and not right now, just it will be never mentioned again. Once again, you get 30 players going to find a boss monster completely prepared, only be completely surprised when they encounter it. Oh, finally, battle it doesn't look like shit, and they skip most of it. Out of nowhere, the hero figures out the guildmaster is the main villain. Just because. The guildmaster agrees to duel him right there instead of just waiting for him at the top floor as he intended all these years.
Just because.
The broad manages to recover from paralysis with the power of love. Gotta love those game mechanics. Guys who are paralyzed and slowly killed can't recover, but a chick who wants to protect her chauvinistic boyfriend can, so she can save him and keep being his slave. She recovered from paralysis only to be killed a few seconds later without managing to do anything significant. Her sacrifice to protect the hero had zero impact since he gets killed a few seconds later. But it's okay if the hero can fuck with the rules as he manages to resurrect by himself. How? With his willpower. Something nobody else from the thousands of people who died so far had. Funny fact, this whole scene would make sense if the broad or anyone else had simply used that Phoenix Dawn from episode 3. Too bad the scriptwriter was too much of a retard to use his own plot points. The hero goes to the offense by using the broadsword, something that was not possible since it would have disappeared along with her. Even if it was transferred to him just because they were married, it should have been stored to his inventory and not just laying on the floor. The hero defeats the villain with one hit, something which was impossible for his level and skills. Talk about overpowered, and talk about an unexciting final showdown. After all this mess, the main villain reveals the reason of why he trapped and killed thousands of people in a sadistic death game. Why did he do that? What were his motives? Was surviving the game supposed to prove the meaning of life, unlock the mysteries of the universe, or accomplish some sort of sinister master plan that involves the future of mankind? And the answer is, he doesn't have a fucking reason. Seriously,
He did all that for no reason at all. There was absolutely no purpose to this whole bullshit death game.
Then the hero returns to the real world, and for some fucking reason he can walk despite being in a coma for 2 years. Where are the doctors and the other patients in that hospital? Where are the celebrations or the chaos of the media making a fuss of all that? Nobody gives a damn for what just happened. There is no payoff for clearing this fucking game. Lamest ending ever! And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the end of Sao. In only 14 episodes, I easily found 100 mistakes, full of bullshit pandering for otaku dorks. Boy, I sure hope they will never make any more of this shit because... Hey, wait, this is not the end. We're still in the middle of the fucking show, there is more of it, no!
This is it, guys, our critical overview of SAO. Let's try to be gentle, shall we? Nah, let's fuck it all up. Fuck it up. What did you think of the first episode?
It has a lot of potential. Being a player of MMORPGs myself, I could easily relate to it.
Me personally, playing video games, I thought it was a pretty cool experience compared to Dot Hack.
Hey guys, I like the setting. Let's give it a 10. Don't mind about everything else.
And the main character didn't seem that bad at this point. Everything aside from that was pretty generic though. The character designs, the animation just look like everyday anime.
Of course it needs to be generic. This way you can self-insert yourself. I mean, identity, special artwork, what the fuck is that? Make it generic so everybody can like it.
What's the reaction by the military, the government, to try and stop this? What methods has he done to stop? That's just completely disconnected. It's like, okay, everyone's just in the game. So that's what really kind of drew me off immediately.
The author never thought about all that, you know. We are not supposed to think about such details, even though everybody did. One would expect that they would eventually explain how somebody managed to publish a game which actually can fry your brain without being checked into first or something.
Is everyone so dense? I mean, Jesus, dude.
Second episode begins with a time skip, because instead of just going for a linear story, they chose to adapt all the secondary missions from the second book the story is based on, which was a lot of standalone mini arcs that happened way before the beginning of the actual show. The actual story of the first book of SAO begins in the 8th episode, but no, we just have to adapt first all the side stories, and instead of having them in a flashback mode, which excuse for them to be short, they just thought it was a smart idea to just throw them in the beginning of the story without having first established good characters and just randomly go from one mission to another. That was a very bad directing move, guys, there. They should have just used those as flashbacks when the time called for it. Because of that, it feels like it's a patchwork of random things happening left and right. And some will say that these side stories are actually fleshing out the game because they explain various features of it, but come on, it's just one episode, you're never gonna see it again, so what's the big deal? Nothing's gonna change if they just taken them out.
I don't care if the time skips weren't in the book or not. The fact is that they're in the 25 episode series, but if it's a 25 episode series, then why the fuck do they leave Sword Art Online on episode 12? Like, what the fuck?
So, impressions about the second episode?
This whole thing had to do with the beater concept because somehow that means that he's cheating.
That's bullshit. If somebody is cheating, that means he'll progress with the game much faster and eventually finish it much sooner, thus everybody will be freed. This is not a death game where only those who complete all the stages will be freed. If one finishes the game, everybody finishes the game. So instead of feeling like this guy has more chances to get all the special equipment from the monsters and the hidden treasures or something, even a normal MMO, they should just applaud the guy. He's helping them win the game faster. If this was a typical game, I would understand why they would be annoyed if he was a better tester, but this is not a typical game, is it now? You don't even need to go out there and fight monsters daily. Nobody's forcing you to do that. You can just stay in towns all day long and go fishing or open a shop. Not fight a single monster in the whole show and just let the beaters do all the battles. So, the players who are accusing Kirito, they have the mentality of playing a normal game when in fact they are trapped inside a death game. They're thinking completely irrational. And some try to excuse that as they wanted somebody to blame for the situation, and because they couldn't just accuse the creator of the game because they didn't know whom he was at that point, they had to accuse somebody that was in front of them, and that happened to be Kirito. So they just directed all their hatred towards a person who didn't really deserve it. Which again is bullshit because Kirito just accepted all the blame and said, yeah guys, just blame me, instead of just telling them the truth and be done with it.
He's a cheater, he's a beta tester, he's a beater. Do we have a party member that knows how to play the fucking drum snare? Because that's hilarious.
But there's a very good reason for why the author did that. You see, every male in this series has to be thinking like a complete retard. So Kirito can seem to be like the only male who thinks logically, and all the girls love me for that.
Was there really no other ways with everyone to just make him the bad guy? Just like pull like a Lelouch and like, I'm the bad guy, hate me. I call bullshit on that. It just seems to me that the writer wanted some excuse to make Kirito just like the solo player.
They're trying to build drama and making him feel like he's the only male who's worth in the whole show. So all the girls will love him and all the men will be envy of him. And that's why all the males hate him in the end of episode 2, while Asuna is the only one who runs after him.
He made his name the Black Swordsman. I don't know if that's supposed to be a Berserk reference or anything, but did not sit right with me. Are people of this generation gonna think Black Swordsman and then automatically think Sword Art Online? That's not what I want.
Something about how Asuna looks. If you notice, she has straight, long hair, and in anime stereotypes, that means a generic look. Exactly like Kirito, she's meant to be generic, so she'll be harem girl number 1. Because in all harems, the first girl is always the most generic looking one, where everybody else is just there to flavor their fetishes.
You never really get to see how he achieves these high levels and stuff. It's never shown, but that's like what really made his character. Like, oh look, he has this strategy of soloing.
Yeah, those damn time skips are even ruining the whole how did he get so powerful? We don't see that, it's just skipped. Any chance of showing us besides telling us he's actually good at games? No? Okay. Just think of what they told us in the beginning of the second episode. 2,000 people died. Oh really? When? Where? We don't see anything. And many assholes said that, yeah, it would be very boring if they could just show us all these people dying one by one, or showing Kirito day by day just killing monsters and leveling up. Just skip over them, it's not important. Just tell us the outcome. Yeah, that's the only thing we care about. Oh, okay then. Kirito finishes the game and fucks Asuna. You don't have to watch the show now. We don't care about anything if we haven't seen if it's important to have happened in the first place. It's the exact same thing I said about training arcs in fighting shonen in other videos of mine. You don't skip the training arcs. Many people find them very boring, but they are also the most important parts of a fighting shonen. If you don't see how hard it was to get the power-up means nothing. And now for a directing mistake that confused many. Towards the end of the episode, Kirito tries to give that health potion to the guy who was dying and he refused it. Whereas 5 minutes ago he was hell-bent on staying alive and even cheating in the game. So we were saying, well what, did this guy just have a change of heart in like 5 seconds? Instead of choosing to be healed, he just wants to die? And the truth is, he was already dead. It's just that the hit points in this game don't drop immediately to 0, they drop gradually. Technically, if the guy had drunk the potion, nothing would have happened and said, no, don't give me the potion. It's not gonna change anything, I'm already dead. We were never told that. We were made to assume that this guy had a change of heart out of nowhere. Third episode, and we already see the contradictions. A result of writing short, standalone stories after you have finished the core story, and thus you cannot really change anything, no matter what additions you make. What did he say in the end of the second episode? I'm gonna be a solo player. Third episode? Nope, I'm part of a guild. And he will keep doing that in later episodes only when he wants to help some girl, never a man. So on one side they say, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a solo player, I'm gonna be so dramatic, and I'm always gonna be a loner, boo-hoo-hoo. And on the other side, oh, I'm totally gonna save chicks, and I'm gonna fuck them all, I'm gonna be the macho man of the game. And this antithesis, which is actually a contradiction, is what makes him the perfect self-insert protagonist, because no matter what he does, we are always supposed to cheer for him. Nobody's questioning his actions. Whatever he does is right, whatever everybody else is doing is wrong.
This is the official start of his harem. Even though she dies, Sachi somehow leaves some recording even after she's dead.
Oh, so she's from Mirai Nikki? A diary user?
What the fuck? What kind of stupid, over-dramatic crap is that?
You know, why should we care? They just don't invest in the characters. You learn that she doesn't want to die. I'm like, that's all you got?
Epic fights they just skip.
Yeah, why are they skipping all the battles? How did he survive from that death trap? Shouldn't we just see how he managed to escape from that place? And if it was that easy, so it wasn't worth of showing it, why couldn't he just as easily saved everybody else? And then we have a second time skip within the same episode where he goes and finds this revive item. He defeats the evil Santa Claus, because that's what he was, an evil Santa Claus, without actually showing us how.
They established from the first episode that when people die, they're gone. So why would this item that Kirito is after defies logic?
He gets this Phoenix down, this revive item. So he goes through all that effort, and then he just tosses it away. That still could have helped another human being. But no, it needs to be within the 10 seconds, so this is useless to me right now.
He can't save his waifu. Who cares about the rest?
He's really gonna fucking need that feather for episode 14. Done.
And again, if you notice, men, except for Kirito, are once again presented to be completely idiots. Instead of going there and fighting the special boss to get the item, they're just killing each other. So basically, they want to save lives by killing lives. And now we're moving to the fourth episode, where all the crap starts to pile up.
They just turned the show into a harem.
We are introduced to Silica, harem girl number 3, and her pet. Yes guys, there are pets in this game, yay! Too bad we're not gonna see it again. Here is how bad the exposition in this show is. She's level 40 and she doesn't even know the basics of the game. Kirito needs to explain everything as an excuse for info dumping, so the audience can understand what the hell is going on. They dumb her down so we can have an info dump about something that we will never gonna see again in a later episode. Okay, very smart.
She paid someone else to level up her character.
And just look how they're treating new characters in this show, just because they're women. A little underage girl being molested by tentacle monsters, or being in her undies, and despite all that, tens of thousands of people still consider this show to be a masterpiece. Go figure. What's even worse is that Kirito pretends that he wants to help Silica because she reminds him of his little sister, an indirect way of saying he wants to fuck her, when in reality that was just a lie. He was just using her as a bait to lure in those thieves. And if that's not a shameless thing to do, I don't know what is. What's even worse than that is that he didn't even need to use Silica to lure in the bandits. We clearly see that he spent lots of skill points to improve his senses. He could smell the bandits from the next continent or something. He could hear a pin falling. What did he need a Silica to lure them in? And don't tell me because the bandits are only attacking low-level characters. There is no way to see the other person's level, as we clearly see in the previous episode. So he could just pretend that he's a low level himself, he's lost in the wilderness, and they would come to him immediately. He didn't even need to use Silica. The whole plot was bullshit.
When the people are trying to hit him, he has just so much HP regen that they're not even doing damage to him. He's supposed to show that he was really powerful and whatever, but he just looked really stupid.
He's supposed to be the guy with all the conflicts, but he's kind of just being a dick about it.
The fact that Kirito can just power level the crap out of the game takes out a lot of the tension from the show. There's no need to worry, he's going to beat them. There's no skill involved, no strategy. It's just Kirito standing and letting his power leveling do all the work.
And another thing, not even the villains of the episode made sense. Why were those thieves stealing items from other players? What was the point for it? Don't tell me it's hard to kill a few monsters, get a few coins, and buy food so you can survive. Or don't tell me making money in this game means anything, because what does money mean? It's not even a real world. And don't also tell me they were doing it because they were bored. We are never shown anything about them, okay? We had no introspection of why they were doing it in the first place. And not to mention that they say there is a prison in this game. Oh, how nice, there's a prison. Where is that prison? Oh, we're never gonna see it. What are players in prison doing there? We're never gonna see that. Episode 5 and 6, The Murder Mystery.
The triumphant return of Asuna, because we've all been waiting to see her again after like episode 2.
She got a power-up, you know, out of screen.
Yeah, part of best guilds in the game, and Kirito is still a solo player, but she's still willing to party with him.
Kirito is always a solo player unless it's a pretty girl who wants to fuck him.
She's trying to figure out some mystery that's going on.
People are now being killed within safe areas.
It's supposed to be like a big shock for the whole community, and just doesn't really seem that way because Kirito and Asuna were the only people that really cared.
So much for being a serious event.
I wish they'd focused more on the Knights of Blood Oath and like said how the guild was good, like what have they accomplished and stuff. And it's just like, oh, I'm part of one of the best guilds and it's another time skip.
What about Asuna? She's second in command out of nowhere. What did she do to deserve that position? Everybody said, ooh, look at that ass, I've got to join that guild. That's pretty much the only excuse you can think of for making her the second in command. I mean, the only thing we see her doing is spending all her skill points in cooking, the most useless skill in the game. And she only cooks for Kirito just to show what a good waifu she is. Again, fan service bullshit.
I'm going to go through the transition of Asuna throughout this overview. First episode, she's calm, then she's cute, then she's mysterious and shy. In this episode, she's a hot-headed, strong bitch. This is the big issue with time skips because you got this huge gap and you don't get to see any kind of character development.
She acts all bossy, but as soon as Kirito tells her to take a nap under the tree, oh sure, I will sleep with you because you said so.
There's like no consistency there. Like, whatever the writer felt was the most attractive at a given time, you made her that part.
Asuna proposes to lure the boss into a village, and Kirito opposes because the NPC villagers will be killed. By far the dumbest reason.
Yup, no reason to save real people. Let's just call these non-living programs to be important enough not to kill, even though they will respawn a moment later. I mean, it's not the same thing as when Kirito killed countless monsters just to get at the level he is right now, right? I mean, that doesn't count. It's not like he's progressing through the game by killing those NPC creatures. And speaking of monsters, yeah, there's a wandering boss out there. What is it? Did we defeat it? Oh, come on, let's skip that part. It's not like we're gonna show action in this action-based series, do we now? The whole murder mystery was a pile of shit. First, Kirito realizes that those people are not really dead because he drops a sandwich and it evaporates, and all it says, oh, so that's how they did it. It was a trick after all. Whereas we see that when he dropped that ball he found in the third episode that Phoenix done, it didn't evaporate even though it is still a consumable item. So they're contradicting their own laws. Then we have the showdown to smoke out the real killer, but the whole thing is again presented terribly. They were all hiding behind bushes and trees. They were just waiting for their turn to appear one after another in a nice line and just giving us a plot twist after a plot twist after a plot twist for something we didn't really care about. And of course no action. In a previous episode, Kirito sent to prison a bunch of guys who just stole a few things from other players. And in this episode, the guilty guy had killed his own wife and he doesn't send him to prison because his guilt was more than enough. What kind of horseshit is that? Said guilt came from Asuna. I mean, the guy at first was just another male asshole like all males are in this show. And then Asuna just gives him a few, you were a bad person to your wife and you must feel guilt about it, and he immediately falls to his knees. All of a sudden, like realizing all the mistakes he did. It's like he had a change of heart just by listening to 2 sentences by a woman. And I love how Kirito was right next to them and said, boy, what a bad person, look how he treats women. He was treating women the exact same way. Remember what he did to Silica?
Episode 7 is Harem Girl number 4, I believe, the blacksmith girl, and she wants to prove to Kirito that she's a legit blacksmith because she's a woman. What does she do? So they go there, and yeah, she just almost gets killed. He has to play Jesus mode.
That totally proved what a worthy and dynamic woman she is. She can't even protect herself without him around.
Yeah, it's just a dumb fan service episode. There's really no point in it.
In this episode, we're introduced to the idea that people can actually own their own business. It seems like a pretty broad, pretty interesting idea, and they don't really go that into it.
As if they did with anything else in this show.
Personally, I like to own a bank and steal money from everyone. They do that. So they go to the top of a mountain and they steal some metal shit from a dragon. So that when she makes the sword for Kirito and that sword breaks, Kirito can say, man, that sword was pretty shitty. Every single time Kirito meets a new lolly in this show, they have a crush on him. Let's like flirt and then they'll just like push you out of the way.
Everything has a crush on Kirito in this show. It just becomes incredibly predictable.
When it was airing, despite all the evidence, people refused to believe that this show is a harem. And they had as an excuse that Asuna is first girl, so she of course gonna win, and any other girl is just pushed aside after 1 episode. So this show is not a harem. Well, time to learn something, boys. There are 2 types of harems. One is the balanced harem, where none of the girls can win the protagonist, and there is also the support harem, where one girl is secured to be the chosen girl since the very beginning, and every other girl is just there to flavor the fetishes. SAO is a support harem, like it or not. It is a harem, guys. I mean, come on. He has seduced all the female population of the game. What else can it be? Episode 8.
You can watch episode 2 and then skip all of the episodes in between and just watch episode 8, and it literally make no difference because nothing happened there. Those episodes were just so obviously filler.
The fact that Asuna gets mad at her bodyguard for doing his job just shows how childish she is and how childish this entire show is. I mean, he's doing his job. What the fuck else is he supposed to do? Oh my god, he's a fucking pervert! Jesus fucking Christ, like, that's his job. What do you want to do about it?
The second most powerful member of her guild, and she can't even control her bodyguard. Yeah, okay.
And then Kirito, of course, has to like mix the guy's words around at the end to make him sound like a complete asshole and everything. But although he does become a complete asshole because they want to make sure that every single choice that Kirito makes in this show is justified.
Basically, anyone who's ever fighting Kirito is just reduced to some jerk that he needs to beat. So there's no depth to any of the antagonists.
And of course, Kirito needs to duel with the bodyguard because Asuna is useless and she can't even fend for herself.
What I found was funny, you know, Kirito goes through this work, he gets the rag out meat, you know, it shows her cooking it. It doesn't show them eating it, it shows them cooking it and then afterwards when they're done eating it. So they even do like a little time skip for this great epic meal that she cooks for him.
It took a single month to make that meal and eat it, dude. Give him a break.
And please notice that he said he doesn't want to kill NPCs, but killing that little rabbit so he can eat it without actually gaining anything out of it was okay. During the duel, Kirito is about to kill the bodyguard, but then Asuna jumps in and stops him. Is it possible to intervene in a duel in an MMO?
That would be retarded. Then people would just double team you. You could get your friend to help you and be like, oh, I'm in a duel, just come and help. What would be the point of that?
You can also be a troll and just say, lol, you guys are idiots or something like that.
Just kill both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible mechanics. That would get as much hate as like the initial reveal of the Xbox One.
Bro, you just explained this show in a nutshell.
Episode 9.
The entire point of having dungeons in an MMO is so that if you want to kill a gigantic 3,000 foot dragon inside of that dungeon, you don't go out the entire dungeon and then at the end of it see that it's like other people can enter their instance as well. It's like, does everyone share dungeons in this? If so, that's really irrelevant of having dungeons in the first place. It makes doing dungeons in this game even more difficult.
They introduce an army of identical players who aim to finish the game, and just like any other male in the game, they are behaving like they're complete retards who can't do anything right. Once again, only Kirito can save us with his hack skills.
So yeah, the dual wielding thing is just retarded. Like really? You couldn't think of anything cooler than dual wielding? 2 swords instead of 1, oh my god, no one thought of this before. Like, this wasn't already a skill in your freaking mandatory skills that players should have. Like, they can only carry 1 sword. What the fuck is this bullshit? It has to be swords because it's Sword Art Online. But of course you see characters carrying like axes and shit earlier in the game, so you know, fuck that sword bullshit.
They even contradict that part because in an earlier episode, some of them were actually carrying 2 weapons anyways.
Oh man, Kirito, you're so awesome. Where'd you learn that? I'm like, he doesn't want anyone to know about it because he might get in trouble.
He doesn't want anyone to know about it because this way people will ask him to be in his team and he wants to be a solo player forever. Which he doesn't do because he always teams up with any girl he meets along the way. So this whole fuss of keeping it a secret is bullshit.
Totally unimaginative. Not only that, but that would also be completely fucking infuriating for somebody playing an MMO. Like in World of Warcraft, imagine if only one person got to play as a Death Knight.
Unique skills are a pile of shit. You gonna reward somebody who's overpowered at something by making him even more overpowered? That would completely trash the balance of the game.
Yeah, the dual blade thing's really dumb, just made him OP. You know, he solos basically an epic boss at the end. Can't even do that. It's impossible.
Asuna asks for a few days off the guild, but the guild master refuses. So again, Kirito jumps in and says, well, if I beat you in a duel, will you let her go? Sure, of course you will. You're a guy. Your opinion matters. Hers doesn't. She's the second in command, remember?
He sets up a duel with Heathcliff, who's actually the frickin' creator of the game, which you don't find out yet, but he loses because he's frickin' god, pretty much, in the game. And it's supposed to be a character development moment, because Kirito's, like, pretty much being Jesus the whole time. And now he's lost, so he's supposed to, like, realize that he's not as amazing as everyone thinks, but, like, doesn't change his attitude at all. He's just the same. There's no development at all. Yeah, just wasted everything in this anime.
Episode 10.
He has to join the Knights of Blood Oath because he loses to Heathcliff, because Heathcliff is the creator of the game and that's the only way Kirito can lose.
Everyone in this show is either a cheater or just power levels. There's no skill involved here.
Deal comes back and now he's really pissed off, I guess, because he wanted dead ass, but Kirito stole it away from him.
Because Kirito's opinion is always justified, this guy becomes a crazy psycho murderer.
So now he's going to kill Kirito. He tries to do it with this paralysis potion, and when he has 1 life left, Asuna just comes out of nowhere with a teleport. And it's just the way they did it was just over dramatic. Like, really 1 life? Like, he was just about to die and she just comes right in the nick of time and saves him.
She knew what happened because she was stalking him. She has nothing else to do outside stalking Kirito. She has no life of her own anymore, and that's why in a later episode she says she'll commit suicide if Kirito ever dies. Like, oh my god, she has no existence anymore. She's a perfect waifu. She exists just for you. It's like in India where if their husband dies, the wife needs to get burned along with him alive or something. I mean, Kirito lost that girl on episode 3, and what did he do about it? He just went on and had sex with every female player in the game, but the opposite can possibly happen. If a girl loses Kirito, she has to die. Anyways, waifu number 1, she was monitoring his life signs, something which of course nobody else in the whole game was doing, and as soon as she saw something was off, she immediately ran to help him. And by immediately, I mean she suddenly teleported in 3 seconds from the other side of the continent. Sounds legit.
The guy wasn't even difficult to defeat, but what they had to do was end up killing him, and they just show no remorse from it. Like, Kirito's just like, oh, we just had to do it. They just don't care. It's retarded.
10 minutes later, he's fucking Asuna, so much for guilt. Why is this podcast just again.
It's pretty easy.
After that, we have their marriage, because we totally see how they fell in love all those episodes. Oh, wait, we didn't.
You just can't believe something like that. You just don't know where that love really came from. Between all these time skips and stuff, the writer expects you to just imagine all of the good moments these characters might have had with each other. It's really, really hard to come to the conclusion they would actually fall in love, because most of what they do is completely pointless. You don't really feel like there's a lot of real connection with these characters.
The ending with the wedding, I'm thinking, is that even legal in this game?
He's Jesus in this game.
Jesus didn't get married, asshole.
And she strips and says, "So, we're gonna sleep tonight. Oh, you wanna have sex with me?" "No, I just said we're gonna sleep tonight." And she punches him, but then of course they have sex out of screen because, yeah. Typical tsunderes do that. And then you expect to see the infamous chapter 16.5 to be animated. One of the worst pieces of erotic fanfiction ever written. But nope, they didn't animate it. Yeah.
Something fun is happening. Let's skip it.
Yeah, there wasn't much to say about it anyway.
Exactly.
Episode 11, we had that cabin in the woods. Where they keep pretending, let's go play a bit more. Oh, I'm so tired. Stop playing with me. Oh, come on, play a bit more with me. And of course, they mean, come on, let's have some more hot, steamy sex. But of course, they cannot say it in the show. The galloping sounds were too much. And you know, they keep on saying you cannot feel pain in this game, but you can have orgasms. How can you feel pleasure but not pain when it's basically the exact same thing? Bad news for sadomasochists, I assume. Once again, we witness the brilliant skills of the author as he makes Asuna to act like she's a 12-year-old with a crush instead of a married woman who has been playing for many days in a row.
Oh my god, what's his age? I never asked him.
Okay, that's a lovely time to ask for such a thing. Don't look at my panties! He has seen far more than your panties, bitch. She finds a little girl in the woods and immediately assumes it's a ghost for no fucking reason. What a retard. And then for no reason the game creates a child for them to raise. Child creation, guys, a new feature of the game. Yay, we're gonna see it a lot more in the future, right? Nah. And then they throw in an orphanage. Another thing we're never gonna see again. What, you thought only the filler episodes would introduce stuff we're not gonna see again? Nope. Even the main story does that. They get attached to this lowly immediately and acted like they know it all their lives when in fact they just know it for what, 5 minutes?
To me, it was just like, alright, so now he also gets the best pet in the game as well, basically, you could possibly have. Doesn't have to deal with any real-life issues, she's only in the game, and she acts just like a human. The best epic pet you could possibly get.
And remember those guys who also wanted to complete the game and they were completely stupid because, well, they're males next to Kirito? Well, now they're back, and they have been nerfed to just being street bullies stealing money from orphans. Oh my god. They just couldn't let them go, could they? They just had to make them complete jerks just for Kirito to show off. Episode 12 is where they go to that secret dungeon, because all of a sudden there are secret dungeons now. Thank you for adding something we will never see again. And I love how they said they should normally not take the little girl to that dungeon, but when the kid said, "Oh, please take me with you, mommy, please," they said, "Okay, we will take you to that very dangerous dungeon where you can be killed." Best parents ever.
Man, they sure are learning a lot about being good parents by taking their daughter, who has no fucking armor or weapons, to a dungeon filled with horrible monsters. Yeah, that's like the best way to teach your child about like staying away from awful places.
Yeah, you would think that after what happened in episode 3, Kirito dooming a bunch of low-level players and trapping them, he would be a little more careful with his daughter. I still think that was like irresponsible of the...
And over there, Kirito needs to face a boss that not even he can defeat, so it seems like they would lose, but no, next power-up that just comes out of their ass appears.
Even more interesting RPG element. You get to take care of a daughter that can create a gigantic, levitating, heavenly sword of awesomeness and cut invincible demons. So just like, oh man, let's like take care of a daughter because we can obviously take care of ourselves.
Then we have that explanation of what the girl really is, and I really don't give a shit about it. I mean, they tried to make it sound tragic and fancy, but it was bullshit. Yeah, I was this AI all along, and yeah, I really cared about you, Kirito, because normally I shouldn't care about whatever, you're the main protagonist and I fell in love with you or something. She saves them, and then she says, oh, but now the system will kill me or something, but then Kirito hacks into the system and turns her into a jewel, because the objectification of women in this show just has no limits.
They expect you to care when there's little to no investment into that character. I got nothing. It was ridiculous back.
She's pretty much just another harem member at this point. Even though she's supposed to be his daughter, there's really not much difference.
Kirito and Asuna, it just like they explain how mating works in this game. When an inconsistent character and another inconsistent character love each other very much, they create a Deus Ex Machina. Thank God.
Power of friendship and love, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, Kirito is a hacker. Oh, what? We didn't tell you he's a hacker? Well, he is, because we told you so. Amazing foreshadowing. And apparently he's the only person in the world who can do that, because for 2 years now, nobody else from the outside world could manage to hack into the game, and he just did it in seconds.
Automatically learns how to use the console computer, the thing that like a game master only knows how to use, and like hacks the system and knows all this computer code to bring Yui back in the form of jewelry, so that's pretty awesome.
He couldn't just use those precious seconds to delete the final boss or something so they can get out. No, he had just to secure another lol in his possession or something.
I just thought that was odd that he knew exactly what to do with that opportunity once it showed itself.
Isn't it possible that he managed to level up so fast because all this time he was cheating, you know, hacking into the game and getting experience points and items faster?
Maybe that's why they
want
didn't
to
show it.
us? So he was cheating all along. That's why he became so overpowered. That's why they didn't show us all his daily leveling up, so we wouldn't know he's cheating.
He's obviously developing in his hacking abilities. Jesus.
Episode 13. The fishing episode. That's so important. We had so much plot, we might as well sidetrack even more. Only now they're trying to think about, hey, wait a second, what's going on with our real bodies? Thank you for thinking after 13 episodes what might be happening with your real bodies, guys. This is something you should be asking yourself since episode 2.
This episode was just completely pointless.
If they're going to bring up all these different concepts of how the game works, they should bring them up at the beginning, not like almost at the very end.
This should be at the beginning. The first few episodes just establishing all the rules of the game, then introducing the concept, and then bringing forth the resolution. It's just, this anime just goes all over the fucking place, and it's just completely chaotic. They're not doing things in order, and it's a complete mess.
Episode 14. The unexpected finale to the show. Kirito figures out who the guild master really is because plot said so.
Out of the 10,000 people that are playing the game, he would know exactly who is the creator of the game.
That sudden burst of speed you got was enough. I really don't think that added up. He just really jumped to conclusions. I mean, maybe he had a class ability to do that, but I guess they needed some reason for Kirito to just have that sudden epiphany like, oh, by the way, you're the villain. We need to wrap this shit up now so we can get to the second half of this anime that doesn't even need to exist.
He realizes that Heathcliff is the creator of the game by understanding that Heathcliff cheats.
Takes one to know one. And the main villain agrees to fight him over there instead of just teleporting to the last floor as he intended all along because they were running out of pages or something. The author got too bored to just write 25 levels worth of plot. Everybody else is immobilized because, well, they're not Kirito, only Kirito can save the day. And Kirito is fighting the last boss, but he's losing. But once again, bullshit happens. The power of friendship makes you break paralyze or come back from the dead because love is more powerful than the encoding of the game.
So where was that for the other characters? It's like a complete slap in the face. Oh, you didn't want to survive enough, so you get to die. Yeah, you know, Kirito obviously has the most willpower, obviously the most women, the best equipment, and the best skills. Get out of here, son. You can't mess with him. He's OP. Their lives mean nothing. He's the main focus.
They just kept cheating. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to be able to revive yourself. No, I revived myself. Like, oh, you're not supposed to have so much health and defense and whatever. But I do because I'm the creator. And it's just retarded clash of like hackers, pretty much. What's the point of this battle if it's just a bunch of people trying to out-hack, like just be as cheap as they can?
Kirito asks him if he's going to kill all of these paralyzed people. And he said, no, I'd never do anything so unfair.
What the fuck, man?
Wait, you serious?
Yeah, that's fucking serious, dude. It's so great, isn't it? Okay. So it's all about Kirito's skill. When he dies, he gets revived because that's what skill is. It's Deus Ex Machina and stuff. So apparently Asuna's not dead because plot demands it and stuff.
People die if they're killed.
I like the moment once Asuna dies and Kirito is just standing there pathetically, gently holding his sword, just like barely holding on, like he's given up all hope. I mean, that would have been good if there was investment into these characters, if you actually cared about these characters, if you had a reason to care for these characters, that would have been good. Because then you get the idea just from that body language that he's given up hope and that Asuna was like the source of all his willpower, his will to fight. That would have been good, but you know, they fucked it up like everything else.
And then we have the amazing revelation. Hey Kayaba, why did you do all this thing? Why did you trap us? What's the meaning of this game? I have no fucking clue.
Oh, just because I felt like it, because I wanted to prove I could do it, and it's just, what the fuck, why? I was bored, I was high.
My own god, oh, you're a hero, Kayaba, remember? He's a hero for that.
That's it. Thank God it's over. Guys, I'm really happy we did this.
The show is not over.
Wait, what
The show continues even when it should have ended.
the fuck's going on here?
And you think it ends here, but no, it just continues later. So why wouldn't they name it Sword Art Online if this is the actual end of this game?
Episode 15.
It's the beginning of the new arc. At this point, Kirito is like kind of depressed and stuff because he's finally made it back to the real world and he's going to school and everything. And he's trying to lead a normal life.
He has to face reality. Oh my god, this is so depressing.
Obviously living with his sister that's actually his cousin. I guess they don't have any parents or anything, they're just living alone together.
Jesus, he's so OP, even his real life is a fucking harem.
Apparently there's a new game now. It's not Sword Art Online anymore. Apparently this arc should be called Alfheim, but they decided to keep the Sword Art name just because cash grab type thing.
Eureka 7 hour, anyone? You know, everybody says that the second arc is far worse than the first, but I don't agree with that. I think that the second arc is, at least writing-wise, far better than the first, because it didn't have random time skips, and they excuse it as if people are not dying in that video game, so that's why it's worse. I, on the other hand, say that at least the second arc is honest with what it's supposed to be about. Escapism fantasy for gamers. And people don't seem to appreciate a show being honest.
At the end of the day, the show was just a comedy harem, and that's what it should have been, instead of trying to do all this crappy, over-dramatic stuff.
I think the second half's a bit better than the first half. It had consistency. That story was shit, mind you, but I mean, at least it had a structure.
After all of that chaos of the first season, we finally have something to work with the characters. We have a few things established about their background, but there's lack of tension in this one with the fact that when they die in the game, they don't die for real. He's not betting a lot. He's just going to keep trying and until he gets Austin. If he fails along the way, oh well, he's not going to die.
People don't die if they're killed in this game.
He goes to visit Asuna in the hospital. Apparently, she's still stuck in that virtual universe.
The way they explain it is just so weird, like, oh, her memories have been kept in the game and somehow it's been transferred to this new game.
You're supposed to accept it because we told you so.
And it just so happens that Asuna's father took over the technology for Sword Art Online and made a new game like Sword Art Online.
How convenient.
And then we get introduced to, what's this guy's name?
The gay butterfly.
Yeah, gay butterfly.
Just call him father.
So, Sugo, another example of a character that is there just to be hated.
Hey man, he's opposing Kirito, what do you expect? Some good character? They have to make a jerk out of him immediately.
Kind of takes away from what a good villain is. Like, look at Saren from Mass Effect, or let's say the Governor from The Walking Dead. They have likable elements and they're cool, but they're also fucked up in their own little ways. But in this, it's just first grader creations. They're just characters that are forced to be hated, and there's no other emotion you could possibly have to them because they're awful creations.
No room to relate. He's just some jackass who wants to rape your girlfriend. He's just that obstacle that Kirito needs to kick the shit out of, and that's it.
You know, for the first episode to a new arc, they overdid it a lot with the info dumping. Just think of how many things happened out of screen and just by being told that they happened in just 10 minutes. Kirito is now part of some secret agency. Asuna is in a coma. Her father is the owner of a new game like SAO. There is a jerk who plans to marry her even though she's in a coma. Her father agrees with that because he will make money out of it. Fuck rules or morality or what his daughter thinks about it.
Japan, man.
It's like...
Marry your DS.
Man, they could do a whole season just by these elements alone and they just go over them in a single episode. Where is that secret agency? And why doesn't anyone in the whole fucking world care about what happened in SAO? Everybody just returned back to their normal lives. Other people are just playing games of a similar nature without being afraid of anything. Kirito didn't gain anything out of saving all those people. Why don't they just delve into those issues?
It's shown no outside reaction, no military intervention, none of that whatsoever. You know, it just really just makes you think, like, what's going on? What's actually going on with the real world in this situation? And you never get that at all.
I mean, the psychological problems of the survivors alone would be an amazing topic. Just think of all those horrible things that happened to them and they managed to survive. But no, they just say, ha ha ha, we almost died a million times, now let's go back to our jobs. What? Episode 16. Kirito finds out Asuna is trapped in a video game in the most improbable way possible.
Kirito meets up with Tyreek Jackson and they see a picture of Asuna.
Somebody accidentally shows him a blurry picture of a girl that somehow looks like Asuna but has elf ears, and he immediately assumes that's Asuna trapped inside a video game. I have no fucking clue how he reached that conclusion.
Kirito decides to enter this game and puts on the head microwave again.
Not only is he not afraid to wear the thing that almost killed him many times by frying his brain, but also he is jumping from joy because he can escape reality once again. Jesus Christ, man. Do you want us to believe you're doing this to save Asuna? The video game pondering of the show is beyond comprehension.
He just pretty much looks the same as his Sword Art Online persona, except he looks gayer and he has elf ears.
And apparently all of his abilities from Sword Art Online have moved over to this game. So once again, they say this game's about skill, but it's not about skill.
They just had to make him overpowered from the very first second he gets into the game. And we can add to the list of the cheating, he doesn't begin in the starting village of his race, but instead he begins in the middle of nowhere, and the first person he meets is his own sister playing the game. Well, he doesn't know yet it's her, but at this point nothing can surprise you in this show. Every rule means nothing if Kirito is around.
Yui is back. She's like this little fairy thing.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen.
More info dumping,
Okay.
man. Even she is there to make Kirito even more overpowered. He doesn't have to learn anything, he just uses her as an info dumping machine. They also want us to accept that she had administrator privileges in the previous game, but over here, no, she can't have that, but she is always aware of everything that's going on in the game, and she turned into a fairy, because the game engine is the same. I have no fucking clue how they're supposed to work. So, what is the first thing Kirito does in the game? He completely forgets his purpose of being in here, you know, saving Asuna. He finds two parties fighting and he immediately runs to help the party which has the pretty girl in it. Yeah, okay. Kirito, you're here to save Asuna, not to create another harem. And remember how much he didn't want to kill people in SAO? What does he do here? He has fun killing people with his bare fists because he's that overpowered. And Lifa, the new harem girl, proves how smart she is by immediately trusting a guy who claims that he just begun playing the game and yet he can wipe out warriors without even holding a weapon.
Yeah, he just kind of starts out and he has just so much more than every other player. Like, he doesn't have to do anything because he already has everything.
That's not all, man. He even masters skills found in this game only. They said you need days to learn how to fly, and look at that, he just learns how to fly perfectly in a few minutes. But it's not like the game makes any sense even if they are following the rules. I mean, look at all these bullshit features it has in it. First of all, this MMO has an end game. The race who manages to get to the top of the tree first will get wings to fly forever. And that will completely trash the balance of the game, because nobody else will be picking any other race besides that one. And later on they say they will have reincarnation where you can actually change your race into anything else. You can just imagine everybody switching to the winning race. Also they say you can be a traitor to your own race. But they also say that every time you die in this game you respawn back to your starting village. Can you just imagine what happens if a traitor dies? Yeah, he respawns back to the place he betrayed. That can totally work. And to top all that, they say there are no game masters monitoring the game. That means that anyone can cheat, lie, and hack all he wants in this game and nobody's gonna give a fuck. What a lovely game. And then they want us to believe that millions of people play it. Episode 17, let's talk a little bit about his cousin Dash sister.
The weird incest thing going on, they tried to excuse it with the cousins, like, oh, if they're cousins, it's not really incest because, you know, whatever. It's just still weird. But,
Because incest is wincest.
Wincest.
She didn't like video games, but when her Oni-chan was trapped into one, she immediately ran to play it, so to figure out what he felt all this time. That makes sense.
Like, if my dad had cancer, I wouldn't want to experience cancer to understand what he's going through.
Or like,
I don't
if
know.
my brother is a drug addict, I better start becoming a drug addict too if I want to understand.
I should just Meth sounds like a healthy participant.
On episode 18, we see two guys who are very close to Leafa and who count as rivals for Kirito. One of them is a dork, a complete wuss, who also loves Leafa but of course has no chance because next to Kirito he's a fucking useless piece of shit. That's a very good characterization there to give us the impression he actually stands a chance.
We have Reckon, and I'm gonna reckon he was just shoehorned into this to make Kirito look cool.
And the other one is actually the leader of their faction or something, who, just like the guildmaster in SAO, behaves like, oh, you're a woman, you don't have an opinion, you cannot live here, no, we can control you. And thus he also becomes a complete jerk immediately, and Kirito once again must mock this guy. Typical males in this show are always doing that.
Either someone's an asshole, a loser, or just falls off of the face of the earth. Like, everything's about Kirito and Asuna.
Sager tells Leafa in a very simple way, saying, you can't just keep doing this, Leafa, you can't keep leaving us because it's bad for the guild, it just makes the guild look bad. And then Kirito has to come and say, your people are not objects. No one was fucking talking about objects, Kirito, it's about respect. He seriously just flips everyone's words around to make them sound like a bad guy. Either that, or the writer for the bad guy's dialogue needs to change it up and make them sound more dickish, because they sound like reasonable people until Kirito gets thrown into the mix. He's like Chemical X or some shit.
Greatest reference ever.
Yes. And then we get Yui in this conversation between her, Kirito, and Leafa, and they're talking about love. Oh, well, I find humans to be so inadequate and weird. You don't understand emotion. Is that why you wanted to spend the rest of your life with your mom and your dad? She's just like her parents. She's just changing to the plot. Oh, I get it. She's a fucking robot. Thank you for that.
In this episode, we also see how much Asuna degraded as a character.
She sounds like a strong female character. And ever since then, she's just sort of devolved into this plot device, just this thing that Kirito needs to save, and that's about all there is to her.
Many say it's not her fault for being like that, because, well, she was in a coma and she was trapped, so there was nothing much she could do, so it's not her fault for being so inactive. Some of them even say that in case Kirito was the one being trapped in the video game and Asuna would go there to save him, the roles would be reversed, but I don't think that the author would ever have Kirito been molested by tentacles or something. He was just gonna use some ass pull and get out of that situation immediately. So no, that excuse doesn't fly. Asuna is treated like a piece of meat. Episode 19. They ambush Kirito because he took Leafa away from them, and he literally transforms into a monster and wipes the floor with them.
Kirito gets his Titan form. AKA,
How the hell did he do that? We have no bloody idea. It was never explained, it's not even part of his class skills.
because, you know, illusions obviously means transforming into a giant fucking bull monster and breathing fire breath and shit and just like ripping people apart. You know, that's obviously illusions.
He keeps one of the opponents alive, and in just 1 second, the guy turns from being completely terrified to being somebody interested in exchanging items with Kirito. That mood swing came out of nowhere. I mean, come on, guys. And this was supposed to reflect how gamers are thinking, but so much for drama. He slaughtered all his friends, and all he had to say is, ooh, nice item, give it to me.
Kirito tells Leafa that I never give up on my friends because of a sudden horrible backstory that I never talk about, only when the plot demands it.
You met yesterday.
And then they find out that there's a bunch of political bullshit going on about different races rebelling against each other.
And of course, Leafa's guildmaster turns out to be a traitor to his own race. Because he opposed Kirito, therefore he must be made to be a jerk.
Why don't they explain any of it? They create this huge political system, much more political than it was in Sword Art Online, but they never talk about it.
They say that the Salamander leader is the most powerful of them all, but we're never gonna see him in later episodes, so what's the fucking point of introducing him? And why is this conspiracy important again? It's not like somebody can be harmed.
Just like, oh no, we need to go and save my people or we're all gonna die. But when we die, we get revived anyway, so why do we care if we die or not? They already bring up the idea, they're just like, oh, don't worry, we can just like die and get respawned, but for some reason they're all still scared that they'll die. Okay, thanks for that.
So once again, he sidetracks from his quest to go save Asuna, just to save some people who doesn't even know about, regarding some political conspiracy where nobody's going to die. Because it's a game.
He pretty much just forgets about Asuna for this whole episode. He's like, no, I need to help with this ambush thing. Like, it's so much more important.
Kirito sort of drops what I think was the whole theme of the anime, and that is humanity's responsibility to do the right thing even when there's anonymity, even when we're in virtual world. If they had treated the anime right, that would probably have been the point where I might have been impressed, but it just doesn't really feel like anything really supplemented that point.
Episode 20.
You have the whole meetings with the Slith leader and the cat Siths. The Salamanders is mostly a male clan, not a lot of busty women or cute moe characters, so of course he's going to go with the smart choice in building his harem empire.
And of course, Kirito manages to outrun the ones who are doing the ambush by simply running faster than everybody else without ever explaining why he runs so fast. And the Salamanders reply by simply having their leader fighting with Kirito instead of just, I don't know, killing everybody since they outnumber them. And the clan leaders of course accept Kirito to defend them even though they don't even know him. Hey, he just appeared out of nowhere, let him fight for us. So Kirito needs to fight with 2 swords and steals the sword from Leafa. What kind of a fucking MMO would allow stealing equipment from players? Completely broken. So he fights the leader of the Salamanders and defeats him. Why? Because the guy was fighting fair.
Instead of just going on his Titan form again, like in the last episode, he has to fight him normally. It's just completely retarded. Like, you just introduced this Titan form and you're not going to use it again? What was the point of introducing it if you're not going to use it?
The Salamander King has a sword that can't be blocked by other swords. And then Kirito steals his sister's sword and he beats him by blocking. Like, good job, Kirito.
And of course, the clan leaders, who are these 2 hot babes, agree to have sex with him. I mean, they invite him for tea, but that's what I mean.
One is a busty hose, and the other is a lolly. So, you know, best of both worlds.
Because furry.
Because furry, yeah. The furry lolly one, and one just has a huge rack.
And since in this game you're not forced to have your real face like in SAO, that means that those 2 hot chicks might as well be 2 fat assholes in real life. So, have fun, Kirito.
When the Salamander King gets revived, he gets told by his subordinate that he fought Kirito and Leafa like 3 days before, but he was wearing full armor, and Leafa is able to discern that this guy was from 2 days ago by hearing his voice. She's been playing with Kirito for 3 days, and still doesn't realize that she's been playing with his brother this whole time.
They also agree to form this campaign to go save Asuna, but they don't have the money to make it happen. So, Kirito once again cheats and says, oh, it's okay, take my endless money from the previous game. And please notice that he had more than enough money to buy any item he liked, but instead chose to steal it from the chick next to him. He just never plays fair. And it's not even like that campaign was successful. He didn't really need them to save Asuna. He just did everything on his own, as he always does. So even that part was completely useless to the plot.
Leafa is there doing things. I don't even know what she's doing. She's just there.
She's there to be holding the sword to be stolen by Kirito.
Exactly, that's her. Here, take my sword.
Episode 21, the infamous tentacle scene.
Well, Asuma makes her first mistake of opening the cage and escaping.
Asuna manages to get herself out of the cage by memorizing the passcode, which the main villain doesn't even try to hide. He's just like, oh yes, your hair. He's just so obsessed with her hair that she doesn't even realize what's going on.
They throw in those 300 trapped brains, and we're supposed to think that now Asuna is again dynamic because she wants to save everybody, but that means shit if she can't even save herself.
The way they act is just so, like, ridiculous. Like, oh, okay, what are you doing here? And the tentacle raper, and I don't know.
Why would they choose to have such avatars, man?
They don't explain anything. It's just like, hey, tentacle people.
You
It's
get
like
it if you pre-order the game.
Exactly, yeah. Pre-order. Tentacle skin for you, and you can rape other players. Instead of flying, it's a good trade-off, man. You get to tentacle rape. So yeah, apparently these guys were just hanging around, just waiting to tentacle rape someone. Just felt so shoehorned in there. They just need 1 tentacle rape per season, so this is how it's gonna happen.
And the best part, while she's being molested by tentacles, Kirito is having slice of life comedy with his sister. And here I thought you were really rushing to save Asuna, man. Episode 22. Asuna manages to steal that card before she is captured again, which she normally couldn't do it because, well, it's an admin item and she doesn't have any privileges to use it, much less hide it into her inventory. Or I assume it's her inventory, maybe it's some hole in her body or something.
Kirito's harem spider senses go off, and he detects that one of his harem mates is in danger, and he just immediately leaves Leafa behind. Blast! Goes to rescue her.
Let's go.
And she senses him too and throws that car towards him, like 50 miles downwards. There was a barrier that prevents anything from passing through it, but that car just went through that barrier like it was nothing. Straight into Kirito's lap. What are the odds?
He just like throws it and it manages to come down, and he just perfectly finds it. It's just like waiting for him.
It even stopped falling and hovered in front of him when it reached him, man.
So plot conveniency and Deus Ex Machina.
you got Kirito thinking he can just solo the hardest raid in the game, and this is the only time he dies, and he doesn't even have to go through the whole cooldown. He has his big-titted sister come through and save him, which was completely unnecessary. He could have just respawned in the town or whatever. She comes and saves him and resurrects him.
And this is where he finally realizes that Leifa is his cousin. And he immediately forgets everything about Asuna. It's just about her and him just realizing, oh my god, what are we doing here?
This completely shows the whole direction of the show, from one romance to another in an instant. This is when he drops his famous one-liner, this is how he gets out of all his problems. I'm sorry all the bitches love me, baby. Basically, what can he say? I mean, bitches be on your dick, yo. So, what can you really do about it? Immediately he tries to go in again. I mean, completely forgetting that he just paid a whole bunch of money to people to go and organize a raid.
Switch back to the other Romans, forget about his sister, she doesn't matter anymore. Episode 23.
The cavalry comes to save him, which he doesn't really need saving.
They didn't feel to me like they really helped much. He still used some sort of a hack skill to get on top of the tree. It didn't feel like he really needed their help to distract all the guards.
And why the hell did he not have them in the first place? Like, why did he just go in solo? It's just completely retarded. He spent all this money like gathering them together to go and save Asuna, and he just goes in solo. This easily could have been avoided if they just went in as a group like you would do in a normal freaking MMORPG.
And when he gets to the top, it is revealed that this game is actually being unfair because the developers never intended for some race to get on top of the tree. Oh, how dare they! This game was so balanced all this time, and this completely ruins everything. And what does he do? He just uses that card, and that lolly, which didn't have administration privileges like in the previous game, now all of a sudden has. Episode 24, the final showdown between Jesus and Gay Fairy. Once again, they're just cheating, that's all they're doing, there's no strategy. The Gay Lord is raping Asuna in front of Kirito so we can hate him even more. Eventually, Kayaba's ghost appears and gives Kirito the victory, as if we couldn't just do it all along. I mean, what did it wait all this time for?
It just felt like such a slap in the face to Berserk fans. Like, they already copied all this shit, like Black Swordsman and, being forced to join the guild, and now this.
And the final showdown was very dull, it was more like a show-off than a showdown. Instead of having Kirito facing the reality that he's not almighty and powerful by losing to this gay fairy, he just gets another power-up and plays with almighty Jesus once again, so very dull. Another wasted opportunity to make him an interesting character.
This is the worst episode to almost anything I've ever seen ever. It is awful. If you literally want to tell me this is character development, then you, sir, have no taste in anything. This is disrespectful to the max. Kirito, as the hero, he turns the pain that the main villain can suffer to 9,000, and then he cuts him up into little pieces and makes him suffer. Oh, God, Kirito, you are just such a good guy. You're a hero, man. People should just look up to you. You are so just.
How brave and noble of you to do this to a defenseless one-dimensional villain.
If he was willing to go through the lengths of, just out of spite, disabling the pain, just so that the bad guy can feel it, this episode is just total bullshit. Just really, really hard to watch.
Oh, and not to forget to mention, Kirito calls Kayaba a hero for killing thousands of people for no reason, whereas Gay Fairy over here, who just wants to make lots of money, oh, he's a fucking asshole.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Final episode. Kirito faces the Gay Lord in real life and beats him once again because, well, he's Kirito, he has hack skills even in real life, but spares his life because he's a hero.
No, I have mercy, I'm gonna spare you. What the fuck? You just don't want to go to jail, man. That's the only reason you didn't kill that guy.
Kirito reunites with his harem girl number 1 and becomes the Haruhi of MMOs. He can just create any world he likes. And he invites everybody to come play in MMOs once again, including those who are playing SAO, as he recreates that world as well. And I'm pretty sure all those scarred people who survived the game will run to play it once again. Sure, man.
It's perfect because we all know Asuna, after the tentacle rape, the molestation, the being forcefully stuck, almost having her memories altered, she has the highest form of post-traumatic stress syndrome possible. So, and then after all this, you just get this one lame scene with him and Asuna, and then Asuna's like, you can't touch my hand, look, there's the cafeteria window, they can see us, don't do that. Okay, that's all we get after 24 episodes of coming to save you. And then it comes the true ending of this, his formation of his true harem, where he can have a woman in reality and a woman in his fantasy.
Here comes the last scene where his sister is like, oh, so you dumped me for Asuna? And he whispers in her ear something. We don't hear what. It's like, don't worry, I'll shag you too, bitch. And we actually have scenes of all the other girls from the previous episodes saying, oh, so what if Asuna is number 1? We can still be his number 2 or something. Yeah, guys, not a harem. Yeah, the last episode's pretty much him hoarding all the girls and creating new worlds.
I like that they didn't include the harem characters from Elfheim because they're probably old fat guys. Like, oh yeah, part of your harem too. She came just for you.
So everyone's fine at the end, and they have this whole reunion with all the Sword Art Online members. Like, oh look, hey, it's Klein. Oh look, hey, it's Tyreek. Hey, who are you? I didn't meet you on my adventure. And you? Who are you? I don't know you either. It's like they had all this time to explain all these characters at the party, and like they didn't. They're just like all these people are here for no reason whatsoever because they didn't give time to explore these characters. They didn't have time to explore anything. These characters aren't characters. They're just set pieces.
And we can all keep on playing MMOs, guys, because escapism is the best, even though you can die playing them.
And then they recreate Sword Art Online, and they're like, oh man, hey, since we completely didn't finish the original storyline, let's go and finish the original storyline. Yeah, but except there's no one at the 100th floor.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
The end. I can't believe so many thousands of people like this piece of shit.
This whole anime was fucking bullshit. Every minute was excruciatingly painful to watch. 0 out of 10. Watch Dot Hack Sign, watch Log Horizon, watch anything really, except for this, because it's crap.
It's just absolute shit. 2 out of 10.
For harems, I give it an 8 out of 10. In reality, I give it 3 out of 10.
Sword Art Online, I'm going to give a 3 out of 10. Why a 3 out of 10? Because I'm fucking generous. This show has failed in almost every aspect. Nobody seems to notice because it's filled with a perfect romance. And if this perfect romance is not good, there is no tension between the characters. There's only people that get in the way of that. It's not love. It's just a fucking plot device. Kirito and Asuna, I think of them as water. And I think of each episode as a different shaped vase or object that needs to be filled with water. Kirito and Asuna, they have to change their shape because each episode calls for a different kind of character. And they change their shape based on what kind of character is needed. So you fill these fucking vases with water and they fit perfectly because they're not characters. They don't have a form. They don't have personality. They're just there to do what they need to do. It's the worst anime I've ever seen. The reason why people like this so much is because people like to think it's better than Dot Hack. Like to think that the purpose of this show was to maybe beat Dot Hack. But you want to think about what the original writer's purpose of this was. If you want to know what his original purpose was, what he envisions his story to be, it's nothing but a joyride for himself to envision himself in these perfect characters, in this perfect lifestyle he's made for himself. This is a shameful anime, and I'm just going to guess that the book is just as shameful.
So episode 1 starts out in a fairly boring fashion. We have this guy, Zexseed, and he's talking about how skilled he is and blah blah blah. Death Gun is in the bar and then he fires the bullet. It kills Zexseed through the TV screen. I don't even get why on earth you would go play a video game to go into a bar to watch TV. The police now decide to go to Kirito for crying out loud.
Sending agents and stuff, that sounds like too much work.
Because they knew him from the SAO incident because he was a veteran player. It does make it weird that they didn't contact like anybody fucking else.
And then they go into like the diner and then they like exposition dump for like God knows how long. Can someone kill someone with virtual bullets from a virtual gun?
Which brings no rewatch value if you know the twist.
They said they did an autopsy on the body. How would they not notice the syringe and shit?
Because these are stupid police people?
Because plot said so.
Wow. Can never figure that shit out.
I'm snoring already, I'm tired. But there's more. After that, it's Kirito hanging out with Asuna. They talk about bringing Yui here, and I'm like, what? Yui needs to stay in the game. In fact, Yui needs to be erased from existence, but why on earth are you trying to bring your daughter to the real world? It's a virtual character!
Episode 2, we can already see that the sniper class is kind of imbalanced. If you range someone, you can hit him without getting hit. The first shot of the sniper doesn't show the shot prediction line, so normally you can't really dodge it.
That just makes a sniper completely pointless. The sniper's just kill one guy. Okay, that's it, guys. That's all I can do. That's all. I'm leaving, guys.
The first shot doesn't have prediction lines. That's why the minigun is so useful. Afterwards, you can just use so many bullets that a normal human being can dodge them, but Kirito is our Jesus, remember that? Who would wait for another party to ambush them at a certain arena place playing thing, except if it was a certain game mode? Maybe it's like a team hunt down and destroy. The functionality of the game is only there when the author needs it to work for basically how he wants it. It's only for plot devices, so it makes sense for him. You wouldn't want to play this game.
As far as action goes, this episode kinda delivered. It was fairly fun to watch, and it didn't bore the heck out of me. Until, of course, at the end of the episode, when they go back to Kirito's harem, Silica gets lifted up by the tentacle monster. It's business as usual.
It's the harem club, okay? Don't question it.
When Kirito and Asuna are talking and he says he's going to go to transfer to a new game, like they take it like it's a life-changing thing. Like he's got to
Maybe
lose
there
his
it
items.
is. Everyone only gets one account.
Why have to isolate yourself to like one fucking game? That's stupid.
You can't have many virtual views and you can't have many real views.
Except when Asuna and later on in the other arcs has a second character for her mother that she makes her use because, oh god, this game is so convenient when the writer needs it to be.
The battle in the beginning of the episode was a little meaningless considering we never see a monster ever again.
That's true.
Episode 3 is where the real train wreck starts to come out. This is Sinon's backstory. Due to a series of events that led her to shooting this guy at a bank who was attempting to rob it, she is now basically afraid at the sight of guns, and this is because in Japanese culture, this kind of child violence is looked down upon, so she would be looked down upon as a person.
This dude was a fucking drug addict. I think she actually did society a favor. They should be praising her for this. She did the right thing.
It did also have a lot of melodrama to it, and the bank robber was played way hammy. For crying out loud, he's like foaming from the mouth in one scene. So she's using Gun Gale Online as an attempt to overcome her fear of guns, which would be interesting and would be a good way to solve it if her classmates didn't tease her and she didn't freak out. They make a gesture of a gun with their fingers, and she freaks out. There is no plausible explanation as to why she would freak out with a gesture that's shaped like a gun, but not an actual gun in a virtual game, especially one that's supposed to reflect reality. That's what really kills any believability of this conflict, and what ruins any possibility of me actually caring.
Basically, at the end of the episode, we get to see Death Gun, but we get kind of shown the face, so you can basically tell from the face who Death Gun is. Like 3 episodes in, kills everything that could keep you interested in the show. Also, we get to see the nurse, which one's Kirito's dick, another one for his harem.
Also at this point, the Kirito talking with his girlfriend thing is getting stretched a little thin, because at this point you're just thinking to yourself, dude, get into the fucking game already. This is called Gun Gale Online, not what's Kirito before he gets into a game online.
The episodes were stretched out, but it's better than just having someone infodump someone's backstory.
Because otherwise you would be complaining about the infodump.
Exactly, you'll be complaining about that. So either take the infodump and padding of 2 episodes to establish a character, or complain about them just quickly going over it in 5 minutes with flashcard montages and screenshots.
Episode 4, this is where we see a bit more of the Jesus-kun aspects of Kirito as he logs into Gun Gale Online.
You don't get to make your own avatar, you get like the avatar given to you.
And if you get a crappy one, there's nothing you can do about it.
Kirito would transport his skill, he gets this really rare avatar type right off the bat, apparently traps so rare in this game.
Little fetish here, he's a girl, oh boy, and he even needs to put on this stupid girly voice. All the male players are fawning over him, because even Kirito needs to have male members of his harem too, not just female ones.
It really shows the laziness on the part of the creators of the show, because when you look at their faces, they really just copied and pasted everyone's face.
He already does something that he shouldn't be able to do, and that's him transferring attributes from his old game to this one. I don't know how he was able to do that. He's Kirito.
Kirito just happens to meet the person that will basically make literally everything fall into place. Did nobody else notice that?
And then, of course, he participates in the arcade game. No one else is good at it. No one can do as well. But then he succeeds because, guess what? He's Kirito. Jesus-kun to save the day.
And we also find out this game has beam sabers in it as well.
Rip off. This is a rip off. It's a rip off. Come on, it's fucking Star Wars.
So, episode 5, they both register for this tournament, and he finally ends up revealing he isn't a girl. And of course, Sinon flips out and does the little tsundere hit and whatever. Kirito has his first battle, he defeats his opponent, and pretty much owns him.
And he uses the Force to find his opponent.
the lightsaber thing. In the show, it's called a Phantom Sword, and I immediately think of the Phantom Menace, the lowest of the low of the Star Wars franchise. That's the first thing that came to my mind, seeing him flip around, because it just looked so impractical, like he's just a spinning ball of dirt and light. Cool for a second, but I feel like they're really underplaying the whole thing of Gun Gale Online. It's supposed to be about guns. Why the fuck is he spinning around with a lightsaber? I know why they're doing it. It was Star Wars, but it wasn't necessary. They could have showed Kirito exploring a new game mechanic. Instead of having him just rely on what we've already seen him done in Sword Art Online, why not show him starting off as a rookie learning how to use guns? Wouldn't that be more interesting to see Kirito try to do something instead of just owning everyone again?
Underdog stories would have been more interesting, but who cares? We're just here to watch Kirito do cool things and do flips and stuff, right?
And then he meets up with Death Gun. You don't care because you outright know that you've never seen Laughing Coffin.
Yes, you have, but you would have forgotten about them by now. They were like a little mini guild that like came and went.
Because they were so uninteresting.
Nobody remembers them.
Yeah, it seems like that the flashback is like a cheap attempt to like add drama, and they were like thinking it's like, oh shit, what kind of antagonist should we do? I don't know, let's just use one of those bad guys that we would never show in the first season.
The main problem with episode 6 is that the Laughing Coffin incident is incredibly retconned in, and we're supposed to be shocked. Oh my gosh, the suspense is killing me. Like, screw this whole Gun Gale crap, just go back to season 1 and fill in the gaps and put in Laughing Coffin. What's the point of this whole season when they're coming up with things to still go back to Sword Art Online because they know that was the most interesting part of the show that they had?
I think this episode would have been more impactful if we had seen the episode in the first season, because then we could have had a callback to that moment, the consequence of what Kirito had done. But we were just given this information within the flashback. If they had worked on making the Laughing Coffin a bigger threat instead of just making it a butterfly pedo whatever for the last season, if they had worked on the Laughing Coffin as an organization instead of just making them like a Team Rocket kind of thing that just pops up and commits mischief and goes away, this would have been a great wow moment for a show that's just skating on thin ice right now.
These are the guys that you killed half their members like 2 years ago, and now suddenly you are feeling bad about it.
In SAO, we actually see him kill other players as well, and he didn't care about that at all, so I don't see that as acting in character.
Yeah, you know it was just as bad? The fact that Kirito and Sinon make it into the finals, and of course, Kirito totally owns her, and then he asks her to surrender, and blah blah blah. It would have been so much more interesting had she actually had more of a resilient personality, and not surrendered, and actually stand a chance against him.
With that thing of Shinon, she was saying, I want someone to save me. And so basically Kirito can fulfill that role. The whole romance subplot was kind of forced.
Episode 7, nothing happened. The end.
Yeah, the episode's just mostly action.
Nothing more happened in this episode.
One of my main problems with this episode is the discussion with the nurse. He basically, spills his guts to her, tells her basically all the stress he's been dealing with, how his past is coming back to haunt him. This is problematic for a couple of reasons. We don't care about the Laughing Coffin incident. They didn't make us care about the conflict. The second problem is the emotional moment doesn't work because it's with some random nurse. It isn't with another character, Asuna, Suguha, Lisbeth, Silica, any of them, really, because they could relate to him. They were in SAO, because that could provide depth, and I think that was a completely missed opportunity.
Let's give Kirito another harem member, because he clearly doesn't have enough.
You can never have enough.
Can never have enough.
Although in this one bit in the episode, at least he seems understanding and kind of supportive of Kirito's situation.
There was no psychoanalysis, there was no character study to make this bump in Kirito's road worth it, especially when it's all over within one episode. You don't just get post-traumatic stress and then lose it within the episode. That's not how that works.
Other than that, there's really nothing much noteworthy. It's kind of just a cool-down episode.
Episode 8, start.
This episode served as the starting point for Shion and Kirito to work together to take down Death Gun. It was also an episode to help display Death Gun as a character, to see how he operates in the system and how maniacal he is. And it was just served up with some action.
We find out in this tournament, they have this like satellite system where every 15 minutes you can find out where everyone is. Kirito basically avoided this by diving underwater. It's so convenient how he figured it out. People are watching this, so in the next Gun Gale fucking tournament thing, all the people are just gonna go like be swimming in the water and shit to avoid being spotted so they can camp.
And they'll fix it. Patch.
Yeah, I know, but this seems like cheating. Like there's a place with plenty of water and shit. He can literally just go like cross half the map and shit and camp wherever the fuck he wants.
By the way, what the hell kind of name is that? The Bullet of Bullets!
Did
Like-
you already talked about that?
Oh, really? Like,
Yeah.
anything would have been better than the gunman of gunmen.
Okay, episode 9.
There wasn't really a lot to say about this episode. I mean, it was just the silly twist of this random guy being a death gun.
That's a twist, people. Some guy appears.
Death Gun is using the same gun that the bank robber used.
That was an attempt to make Sinon really scared when she fought Death Gun, even though like laser only had zero relevance.
Really, that was about it. It was just them chasing Death Gun firing back.
The boring CGI of them going on like little tricycle, motorcycle thing. Death Gun on this robotic horse. I didn't like the CGI here. Like, they did way better on Elno Zero.
Next episode is Death Gun looked like he's getting ready to shoot Shinon, which no, won't happen. Kirito came and he saved her, like Neo. And then they have this chase scene, which is like Star Wars meets Ben-Hur meets Mad Max, but in the worst way possible. Shinon is hesitating to shoot when she should, because it's convenient now that she can't because she saw that gun, which was the reason they incorporated it to begin with, because this is SAO, where one thing is brought up to be ended by the end of the episode.
Stupid. I can't pull the trigger because that guy conveniently has the same gun model. Oh.
It tries to copy all the things that Zeph mentioned, but it comes off more as a Scooby-Doo chase scene. It's totally cartoony and ridiculous looking. I could not help but laugh looking at that.
It unfortunately gets ruined by the ridiculous thing Kirito does, like driving the most difficult to drive thing in the whole universe with one hand, looking backwards, timing a jump over a crashed car so they fly, while helping her. Like, it's just too over the top, so I couldn't take that seriously.
So they escape and they get to a cave, and this is their, I guess, quote-unquote tender moment. Shinon bringing up, her incident with the bank robber, and Kirito with the laughing coffin. Just settling down for the
longest cafe scene ever.
Yeah.
That goes on for, like, ever.
That cave scene was just there to, like, develop the romance between Kirito and Simon.
States that she hates him and cries, and 15 seconds later, literally, she's laying on his lap.
So they have this like tender moment and this recording, like the camera, so the audience can watch, and she's like hugging him and like their legs and crossed and shit. It's like something that couples do when they're like romantic and shit. So that scene is perfect for writing your erotic fan fiction, and they sort of open up their hearts to each other and shit. Like they tell them these stories.
It's just a very long utter exposition because we've not had enough of these where we sit in a cave for 2.5 fucking hours or something, not doing anything, sitting on our asses, which is fine if it would like restore health or something, if it was a game mechanic to sit on your ass, not just stay away until that 15-minute mark bullshit satellite thing comes, because everyone knows that satellite thing is really important, right? It isn't like Death Gun could just have one of his accomplishments, watch the stream and say, oh, they're at that position.
The whole thing with the satellite was to prevent people from camping, but what the fuck are they doing right now? They're doing exactly that. And if it was this easy, then you can just go in any single infrastructure that have a covering, and you're basically safe from that from happening.
How do people lose at this fucking game?
This system is broken.
It's not broken, it's useless.
This is how the camping system works, right? If you're camping properly, you can camp. But if you're camping in the open, then you're dead. That's basically what the system is. Like, what the fuck? What's the point of that? So useless, that piece of shit.
It really just exposes the shit writing that is SAO.
And suddenly, Kirito has this blast of light, like 16 tackle style, by seeing a lizard with 2 freaking tails. Which, by the way, I stand corrected from earlier. That's the second monster we've seen in the entire game. My bad, guys. So certainly, Messiah-kun happens to have this great flash of light and just come up with the answer. And seeing Sinon's ass.
This was a moment that we can confirm 100% that Jesus-kun is in fact Jesus-kun. Not only is he good at everything to do with video games, but he's also a Houdini when it comes to solving mysteries. By looking at mundane things like a lizard, it was just him deducing that Death Gun is not one person, but the identity of 2. How they came about getting that logic, I couldn't remember. I just remember the ass scene where the camera pans to Shinon's ass.
Hey man, that's the best scene, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this episode was just coming up with a plan to stop Death Gun, or Darth Vader, whatever.
Darth Gun.
They try to lure out Death Gun. Kirito is waiting for him in the open, and then Deathgun fires a sniper on him. We all know the first shot has no prediction lines, but Kirito dodges it anyway because, Jesus, literally. Asuna is visiting him in the hospital. Kirito's pulse is actually getting higher, but nowhere close to be dangerous for his life or anything. When Asuna comes, they just make a big fuss about it, but there's no way Kirito can die or anything can happen to him, so it's completely ridiculous. I also love how Asuna brings the phone with the AI. The AI talked to Kirito despite him not hearing anything.
What was weird about that fight was that when Kirito beat a death gun, he just randomly exploded.
Yeah, for no reason. I think it was like a terrorist. He might have been a terrorist, Def Gun.
Are we not going to mention that at the end when she hugged him, they exploded?
That was just them abusing the rules of the game.
They both blow up. They're now both the champions of Gun Gal Online. She opens her eyes, and lo and behold, creepy guy.
I just hate when a writer has to resort to writing in a rapey dude.
And then he starts doing this hair sniffing shit like the gay butterfly in season 1. And he goes like, "Oh, I love you" and shit.
I can't believe how nobody had mentioned the famous Asada-san. Asada-san, Asada-san. Like, have you seen his actual face? It's called the Zip Zip Boobity Zip Pudding Zine.
And then out of nowhere, like a true messiah, Kirito saves her. And then he gets stabbed or some shit like that.
Just out of pure coincidence, those little metal things they put that he had on hospital, that was enough to save him?
Are these things just made of like super rubber or something?
They're made of plot armor. Just too thick, man. You can't go through it.
Nah, man. Kirito used the force on that, man. He used armament hockey.
That was just the biggest arsehole. He should have died. They should have just ended it there, like him dying.
So they finally defeat Darth Maul, and it was a good explosion. They hugged each other. They went kabooey. After they went kabooey, Shinon is visited by Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby wanted to zip zap zippity zoop her, and thank God that she was a believer because the Messiah came just in time.
That's sort of all in a nutshell.
Anyway, problem solved, and Kirito just remembered the guy's name because plot convenience.
Bullshit. More bullshit.
She confronts the bullies.
And then all of a sudden she has gone over her trauma.
Which seems fine, but it's like, did someone care at some point?
Dude, why the fuck were those bullies shaking all of a sudden?
It's a BB gun.
Oh man, she shot the can, man.
Ooh, such a badass. It's so ridiculously, hysterically funny.
She's the real deal, man.
It's like, what's the point? I mean, you just shot a can in front of two bullies who are physically stronger than you and could just take away your glasses and beat the shit out of you. Oh no, she might shoot a little plastic pellet at us. Oh, she has the mark of the Jesus gun. We can smell him all over her.
Would you be afraid of somebody holding a pellet gun at you?
No. I would walk up to them, break the fucking thing, and then say, "What was your plan?" It's a pellet gun. I can see the plastic mold on the side of it. You dumbass. It could work that this is like her overcoming her fear, but then for her it's kind of her own victory. That would be fine. But when you have the bullies also trembling in fear because she shot over a can, that's where you lose me. You had something and you lost it because you Shyamalanized it. You went a little too far. Good idea, a little too much execution for no reason. Literally, if the scene would have been, she shoots the can, the two bullies give her this deadpan expression, don't react to it, and are like, "Oh, the fun's gone of this," and then leave or something like that. And then she can feel like it's a victory. Then nobody else cares, then it's her own personal victory, not her victory over some bullies that nobody cares about.
Let us not forget that entire ending of info dumping before ending the episode, and then a recap.
The bar scene, her official part that she becomes part of the harem. The official ceremony of hareming. Where she meets Klein, the original. Because Klein is the main girl. Everyone knows that. Klein was the first.
It's how professional writers do it, man.
Because the writer couldn't be asked to write anything more than the little plot thing he had going on. Rapey dude, because the guy can only write one kind of antagonist because he's fucking stupid or something.
With the Excalibur arc, we get some bullshit. They find out there's a sword that Kirito wants, because he wants to be even more overpowered.
It's pretty bland, pretty standard. I mean, nothing new, nothing memorable.
It's just an average story. Nobody actually gives a shit.
Honestly, I see no reason for this arc to even exist, because Kirito really doesn't need the Sword of Excalibur. He'll win anyway, no matter what sword he's wielding. So why does he even need Excalibur? He doesn't need to be any stronger than he already is.
Kirito gets the sword, and then he throws it away. He's like, "Oh, no, I don't need this, because I'm a hacker, and I can just hack Alpha Online, because I've got so this was totally pointless, and we get some fan servicey bullshit in between.
We can see naked Asuna, that's pretty good.
The Mother's Rosario arc is pretty much the closest Sword Art Online gets to trying to do an emotional story, and it was probably one of the hardest they failed at.
Absolutely horrible.
Average.
Like somebody being hungry, and you give them shit on a plate, and you're like, eat it. The writer was like, I can't sit down for 5 minutes to think of more story. I'm just gonna feed the audience this emotional bullcrap and hope that the plebs buy it. It's just this. Asuna randomly meets some girl. She
that
has
rhyme?
cancer. One girl is dying from cancer, and suddenly, everybody, and the only thing even stupider than the writer writing this arc instead of coming out with some plot is people praising it as being the best thing ever.
Bye-bye, my friend, they just met 6 weeks ago, and apparently we're supposed to give a shit, but we only knew this chick for like 3 episodes or some bullshit like that.
This whole arc is pretty much based off of Asuna and Yuki's relationship, and to be honest, it's not a very good one. Asuna acts like a child the whole time because her mother doesn't want her hanging out with Kirito.
How the fuck is she not heard of Kirito if he's the one who literally saved her daughter's life? Like, can't you just trust someone who saved your daughter's life from being raped by tentacle skin monsters?
That's a sound criticism.
And you'd think, okay, Yuki might actually be a cool character. She is actually the only female character pretty much to not be a part of Kirito's harem. She actually didn't lose to Kirito, which was nice. So at first, you're thinking, oh, this is gonna be pretty good. But of course, if they're not praising the savior of games, Kirito, then obviously they must go. And that's what Yuki did. And the way she went was absolutely absurd and unnecessary. This arc was a train wreck at attempting to get emotions out of you. In all honesty, it just fell flat. Yuki was interesting enough, but like the way they killed her off was in such a ridiculous way with AIDS or whatever. It was too silly to be taken seriously, and the conflict was too childish too, with Asuna and her mother. As a result, this arc falls flat on its face and isn't enjoyable to watch. Most of it is pretty boring, not much happens. So, each arc of Sword Art Online seems to get less and less interesting as the show goes on into its second season, and I'd say this one had the most going for it, but was also the worst.
In the year 2020, humanity has finally created a complete virtual environment. Welcome to Spreading Autism Online. Basically, just tell Snob to use like the first part of that, like as the intro to the podcast. Because you gotta admit, that would be pretty good as an intro. Be fair now.
I think it might scare off some.
First thing, everyone says like, nah, maybe it's going a little bit too far. You know what? We'll just leave it in there.
But think about it. Once they clicked on a video, they already had their click, you know? It doesn't matter if they turn it off.
How dare you? It's about building an audience. God damn it.
Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be inside a game? People everywhere have always wanted to be inside a game, or at least considered what it would be like to live in one. In this day and age, there are games like MMORPGs, but you can't actually experience this firsthand because you can't actually live inside the game, only watch it through a screen. Would you like to live in a virtual reality, where you could live as a hero, where you could do anything you ever wanted that you couldn't in reality, even when death is also a reality? It starts off somewhat light-hearted, but it becomes a lot more serious as the story goes on. Characters 10-10, I can relate a lot to the main character Kirito's personality. The characters are brilliant as they all have their own goals and unique personalities. They all have their own opinions and points of view, and each have their own unique past and lead different lives. I have to give this an I'm a 10-10 wholly due to the fact that I can't truly envision its perfection if it could be given more time. The character ideas are there, the unique and individualistic views are there, the fantastic composer and visual settings are there. It has the correct recipe, but the incorrect date time. Putting aside my bias, it would probably deserve a generous 9-10 due to plot holes, rushed time frame, and incomplete character development. Have you ever played an MMORPG, sat down in front of your computer, logged into a virtual world, and then realized that the next time you got up from your seat was 5 hours later? If you ever had this kind of experience, I can say with 90% certainty that you will enjoy SAO. On the other hand, if you have had little experience with online games, you may not be able to truly appreciate SAO. All Team Online, the second arc, brings the perspective back to the real world, and is an excellent follow-up to the first arc.
This is my first ever anime review, so don't hate if it's not perfect. I find it really funny that none of the reviews for this anime are above 5. People like to hate, I guess. I think this is definitely one of the best anime ever made and doesn't deserve all the hate that it gets. Story 9. The part that bugs me the most is when they say that this has a boring plot/story. How blind can you be? The characters are trapped inside the game of Sword Art Online, and if they die in the game, they die in real life. There is no way that this plot point is boring. You never clearly know what was going to happen until it happened, unless you read the light novels. The characters in Sword Art Online feel like real people for the most part. They interact with each other like real people and have emotions. The romance between the characters is amazing as well, best since Climax.
Every episode is in a different setting, usually with a significant amount of elapsed time since the previous episode. While some people hated this, claiming the episodes were pointless fillers, I felt differently. Not only are some major characters introduced in these episodes, but it also reveals and develops Kirito's character.
There is already another idiot who defends it.
What happened? I'm allergic to bullshit.
Let's debunk his bullshit.
Point number 1. Kirito made beta testers to look bad.
No, all he did was trying to become a martyr so the rest of the players won't kill each other.
Well, excuse me if it didn't work with me, since the author tried to make him a tragic hero before mutating him into an overpowered self-insert Gary Stu. Also, the rationality of that action was bullshit. Beta testers are the ones who progress faster through the game and thus get closer to saving everyone in a fraction of what everyone else needs. Beta testers should be gods in a death game. And do you know what? The whole martyr business doesn't even matter, since he's not even blamed after the second episode. Everybody just forgets about it, and all we're left with is an overpowered harem lead. Just look at Asuna. She was all over him even when he wanted to be a martyr. Well, that makes sense.
Point number 2. Kayaba does remember why he made Sao.
Oh, actually he had the reason at first, but then he lost his way and forgot all about his initial goal. His initial goal was actually to be a god in a world he created himself. So as you can see, it's not like he did everything for no reason.
Yeah, truth is he had god complex, so he trapped, tortured, mentally scarred, and then killed thousands of people, all for his glory. Well, now he's a much better character than before, isn't he? He totally deserves to be called a hero by Kirito in the second arc.
Point number 3. Asuna shouldn't be able to neutralize the poison in the finale of the first season.
Oh, you see, this is a running theme in the show, where man overcomes machine. It would be an asshole if it was done only once, but since it's done multiple times throughout the show, then it's actually something that makes sense.
You know what? I could believe that if everyone could do it, not just Kirito and his harem girl number 1, because their plot armor to hell. If it was something every character could do it, I would accept it. And no such thing happened.
Point number 4. Kirito shouldn't be able to resurrect in the finale of the first season.
Oh, you see, he didn't die. His life simply passed through his eyes because he thought he would die soon, but no, he had a few hit points left and did a final attack which defeated Kayaba. So you see, he was obviously not dead.
And fuck logic of why did Kayaba lowered his defenses for no reason if Kirito wasn't dead.
Point number 5. Asuna should be dead in the finale of the first season.
Oh, you see, it takes some time for the nerve gear to fry your brain after you die. Since the game ended before that time had passed, her brain wasn't fried yet.
And fuck logic why Kayaba's brain was fried if the game ended the moment he was defeated.
Point number 6. Kirito is overpowered.
Kirito is not overpowered, he just farms far more than the other players. Thus it's unfair to call him OP when he just has more experience.
And we see no such thing, the whole farming part is implied. It's hard to accept something you're not shown, and it's impossible to suspend your disbelief when he's constantly shown to waste his time in low levels, where he's seducing girls for his harem. And of course, no word of why no other players are trying as hard, as if they all are less talented or don't want to escape this death game.
Point number 7. The romance between Kirito and Asuna was forced.
Oh no, it wasn't. They were together for 2 years and they had lots of small developments in between.
We saw fucking nothing because everything was fucking skipped. Also, it's impossible to assume these two spent much time together when we are also supposed to accept that Kirito spends all his time in farming and in seducing other girls. Where is the romance in that, huh?
Point number 8.
Asuna is useless in the second arc.
Oh, but that's the point. She was defenseless. So the theme of their relationships in the real world can be far more important. Kirito cares about Asuna in real life as well, and that is why he goes to save her. Also, it shows how reality blurs and you can have your own sister having the heart for you.
Yeah, right. It's impossible to accept the love Kirito shows for Asuna when he spends half the arc trying to stop some irrelevant raid, seduces 2 more chicks, and forgets all about Asuna the moment he finds out who Leifa is.
Point number 1 again?
Because fuck numbers, so makes sense!
People still play VR games after the SAO incident.
Oh, you see, many gamers are addicted and they will never stop playing video games no matter how harmful they become.
Bullshit self-given explanation. The reason they keep playing is because the whole SAO incident is magically erased from everybody's memory. Nobody cares about it because it was never addressed inside the series. The author just didn't give a fuck.
Point number 2.
Again!
There is terrible pacing and time skips.
Oh, no, there isn't. Numbers in this show are arbitrary. It doesn't matter what level you are or on which floor you're at.
All it matters is whatever bullshit the plot is telling you it's about. And that excuses why there are 100 floors and we only see 8 of them.
Point number 3.
Again!
The MMO aspect is not fleshed out.
Oh, but you don't know how video games work in the future, so you can't tell how much was truly shown or if it makes sense.
Oh yeah, of course, you can judge something that is from the future, because it is what the author did, right? He went to the fucking future, he saw how MMOs are like, then went back and showed us how they are fucking like. The point of science fiction is to be presented in a plausible way, and not excuse everything as magic technology from the future.
Point number 4.
Again!
There is incest.
Oh, come on, why are you so prejudiced? There is nothing wrong in wanting to fuck your own sister, plus this is the future, those things could be normal by then.
The point is not if they were normal, the point is that Kirito was there to save Asuna, not to fuck his sister. And you can stop pretending this whole subplot wasn't there for nothing but deviant fun service for basement dwellers.
Sword Art Online is a story about the integration of virtual reality into society.
No, it wasn't, you fucking retarded tasteless piece of casual shit. It's just fun service for porn gamers. It plays out as a fucking eroge. It's based on a fucking light novel for fucking sex. Stop trying to make it look like something that it isn't. Serial Experiments Lane did the same thing of integration of virtual reality into society, and it did it a million times better. Hacksign was about people trapped in a video game, and it did things better. And Log Horizon is, well, it's about people having fun in a video game world. Still better to SAO. So take your pretentious garbage and shove them up your ass where they belong. I am the anime snob, and I'm not going to let you and the rest of the filth you belong to keep spreading your overthinking poison. You are the cancer, I am the cure.
Justice demands retribution.
The guy replied, so you know what that means. Time for another war of non-stop back and forth.
It doesn't make sense why people hate beta testers, but they were emotionally unstable, they are teenagers, they make mistakes.
Well, that sounds familiar. It makes sense because it doesn't make sense. Well, listen here, mister. Even in their insanity, they should still be following some sort of consistency, a thing which they didn't. On Kirito's part, he's an antisocial and a solo player, a thing which he contradicts by caring about these idiots who are brainlessly trying to kill each other, and for going around gathering harem chicks. And on the idiot's part, aside from how retarded they were for blaming their saviors, they were also about to kill each other, right? They wanted a scapegoat, and Kirito chose to be one, right? Well, why didn't they kill him and just let him go? I will tell you why, because double standards. We need overblown drama in our story, but we can't have people acting accordingly, because this way everyone would be dead because of stupidity.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
I'm not saying Kayaba deserves to be called a hero, I just pointed out that there was reasoning behind his actions.
And it still makes no sense and uses double standards.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
They only cheated a game once and never again.
Sure, it's not like Kirito ever hacked into the program and changed it so Yui can become a trinket, right? It's not like his illusion spells in the second arc transform him into a real monster, right?
Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
Kayaba lowered his defenses because Kirito started disappearing.
If he wasn't dead yet, he wouldn't be disappearing.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Kayaba's brain was not fried. He himself fried his own brain to put it into data form.
So he's a guy who killed lots of people, manipulated many more, then staged his own death without really dying, and is now considered to be a hero. Oh my god, Kayaba is Lelouch! And it still makes no sense of why he did all that.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
I am sure there were more people trying hard to finish the game, but only he was perfect in the solo type of gameplay.
Of course, and he was, since he was the only guy with dual wielding, something nobody else had.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Asuna had no meaning in her life until she met Kirito. This is why their marriage had meaning.
And that is why she wanted to kill herself if he ever dies. Free will? For women, what the fuck is that?
Kirito didn't forget Asuna in the second arc. He just helped Lee find the raid because he didn't want to lose any more guildmates.
But nobody dies in Alo.
Yes, this is why his reasoning is terrible.
So you agree that he forgot Asuna for a meaningless raid?
No, he's mentally unstable. He's a teenager. He makes mistakes.
Here we go again. And to think this is a type of guy Asuna fell in love with.
People won't stop playing video games regardless of the topic not being mentioned in the series.
Keep playing deadly video games and pretending they were never deadly are two different things.
I'm honestly not sure what your argument here is.
My argument is that you excuse the arbitrary numbers in floors and levels to make sense out of something that makes no sense.
The game itself is just one possible way an MMO could run.
No, it isn't, because it's fucking unplayable.
This arc was to examine the relationships made in virtual reality. How strong and how deep can they run?
Not much if you forget the love of your life and go gather more harem bimbos. You gonna keep this going, huh? You wanna keep this going? Come on, come on, come on, keep this going, come on. Get your popcorn! As you can see here from his initial statement, he claims that he doesn't want to defend the show, but rather to explain how many things people assume about the show are mistaken, and that I am equally blinded as a hater, as others are equally blinded as funtards. Keep this remark in mind for what follows. As for my reply to this, you, sir, have spent so much time, energy, and brain cells in defending a fundamentally flawed anime without even understanding the opposition. You'll get what I mean later on. To the point you are equally blinded. Over here he is trying to excuse how everything in the show happens for a reason. Every harem girl is part of a theme, and they didn't kill him because he was overpowered. That is true, but as I said, all that exist for only one episode and are never mentioned again. So I am right when I said that they use all the events once for dramatization and thereafter as nothing but fun service for gamers. They are thrown away concepts, okay? Excuses for overthinkers like yourself to write walls of text based on absolutely nothing. They have the same importance as quoting books or having fancy names based on historical figures. They don't matter but the fact that they are mentioned. Just look at how desperately you're trying to make sense of the game mechanics. These are stuff not even the writer thought of. They are self-given explanations coming from blinded fanboys who are filling all the holes the writer never thought of. They are not canon material, they are fanfiction, existing only in your imagination. And look how you try to make it seem like I am the one using double standards for saying Kirito forgot about Asuna. I never said he's perfect. He has more character flaws than he has harem girls. The point is, his flaws are never making him look bad in the eyes of the girls inside the show. No matter what he does, they magically think it's awesome. Did you even notice how he constantly cheats and mistreats them and they always forget it immediately? But when another guy does the same thing, oh, they make such a big fuss about it because it's not Kirito. And let's not overlook, no matter how many mistakes he makes, he always wins in the end against opponents who didn't make a single mistake. You want double standards? Here they are. But don't assume you're not doing the same thing, my precious. Over here you're trying to excuse how the government cared about the whole incident and shut down the servers. And what did they fucking do when Kirito magically hacked into the system and brought back the whole SAO game for people to play? Nobody fucking cared that a game which killed thousands of people is back and people play it like it's okay. And what kind of a fucking excuse is saying that gamers will not complain because they're the ones playing the fucking thing? You're using circular reasoning. I like playing video games, thus it's good to play fucking video games. What an amazing logic you got there. And the best part of it all is how, despite all the uncountable facts I provided you with as evidence, you still don't get it. You're mentally incapable to understand fundamental reasoning. But you are otherwise trying to convince us, as well as fool yourself, that you're not defending it. You only provide conclusions based on what actually happens and information you can gain out of whatever happens. And that is why you have convinced yourself that SAO is a well-written series, when it obviously isn't.
The reason for it is right here. You love the fucking premise. You don't care about common sense. You don't care about the playability of the game. You don't even care about the vomiting writing. You just like the fucking premise. How more pretentious can you be for giving value for what is essentially doodles on toilet paper? Wake up and accept the truth as only I know it and you don't. Or just continue, I don't mind. I'm having fun with this topic. The first guy seems to have given up on trying making himself look even more stupid by defending this piece of shit, but guess what? Two more appeared to take his place. What? You thought that after all these years people would have realized it's obviously complete garbage and would only be a few exceptions once every year? Not on Reddit, where they sprout faster than mushrooms. So let's go over these new idiots and their retarded logic. Let's start with this one who explains why Mother's Rosario is the best arc. I didn't even need to write a text about it. I will just read my replies.
I've been an SAO fanboy for years, even if the show sucks.
Admits it sucks, still is a fanboy.
It's going to satisfy my inner fanboy and my more mature side.
Your mature side is satisfied with the exact same things as your immature side? What does that tell about your maturity?
It managed to set up the perfect setting and introduced a great set of characters while expanding on the others.
Setting, a game you can't die. New characters, another harem girl and a stupid evil mother. Expanding the others, Kirito is dressing for once.
It's going to be a person with a 7-hit combo fighting hand in hand against the former right-hand woman of the Knights of the Blood Oath.
And they can't die or lose anything if they are defeated.
A 7-person team taking on an entire boss.
Oh, we never saw that before, with more people. And the deaths.
Not to mention, Kirito showed up to kick some ass.
As always, and that is cool all of a sudden. I thought this was Asuna's arc.
However, they also set it up to be a good story. A group of lifelong friends that won't see each other ever again literally spells out feels.
That sounds like a school rom-com plot, not risking everything by playing video games.
I'm gonna cry, you're gonna cry, we are all gonna cry.
From laughing at its blunders.
Not to mention it's in fucking Encrad!
And nobody can die!
I like the new characters. Zenkin seems like a happy young girl with a dark secret. You can just tell it's going to be good.
Like all the previous harem girls and main villains.
The only thing that could make me orgasm harder is if Kirito became a decent character, the harem all died off, and they referenced their time in SAO more. Every time they mention SAO, I come.
Fun fiction for runnery gamers. That is SAO in a nutshell.
Asuna's mom is pretty much what an average person would be.
Being a bitch to the person who saved thousands of people, including her daughter, is so average.
Can we take a moment to talk about how godly the animation and the actual direction of the new opening is?
And that totally fixes all the problems in the show. And here is a major spoiler for what happens in this arc because fuck you, I don't care.
Yuki's going to die from AIDS before she has a chance to be added to the harem roster.
The only way a girl can escape Kirito's swag. I won't say much about the second idiot, since he wrote a hell of a long post where he explains why Asuna's mother is an amazing character who makes sense and wants the best for her daughter, and the whole thing falls apart so easily once you realize that for a mother that seems to know so much, she agrees that she married an idiot for power and money. Thus your wall of text is disproven just like that. She chose the easy way out and got an idiot husband she doesn't like just for her career, and now she wants her daughter to do the same. What an amazing and logical mother. Reiki Kawahara moment right here. I wonder if those idiots reply so I can keep this going. I posted the script of my previous video on Reddit, and guess what? There are still people who defend Sao and R for absolutely no logical reason, such as this guy who doesn't find anything wrong with it and demands evidence for whatever I said, as if all that I wrote has no basis if I don't state the obvious. And I did so. I gave him the topics where I gathered everything that was wrong with the show. His reply was, as expected, that all that are not evidence, they are nitpicking and buzzwords. As all fandards do in any show, you give them hundreds of examples which are magically rendered invalid. Dear, there is nothing wrong with my favorite piece of shit. Disregard everything others say, la 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 la. And notice how it makes it seem like when I don't provide evidence, I am wrong. And when I do provide evidence, I am still wrong. As expected from people who like light novels. But since Stu can play this game, I ask him to defend the show, and as you can clearly see, I didn't disregard what he wrote. I used common sense to point out his bullshit. Something he didn't because he can't. Derp, it's nitpicking as if whatever I wrote totally isn't. Shout out to this particular particular thing he said where apparently Axel World is in favor of technology in our technology-fearing society? When the hell did people start being afraid of technology all of a sudden? I would somewhat believe it if this was the early 2000s, but now everybody is head over heels for technology. Heck, even my dad who used to hate the internet and is now using it daily. What kind of bullshit is this guy saying? I didn't even need to reply to this next part since somebody else did it for me. The asshole started praising Kawahara as an amazing writer because he's successful and knows his audience. The overused fallacy where something that is popular or sells a lot means that it has to be great. Here is something to ponder about. Mystic Nexia has now more subs than even Little Kuribo. Plus he sells his own merchandise. Yes, he can now masturbate to body pillows with his face on it. Isn't it amazing? That clearly makes him as talented as Kawahara Reiki, since he's also successful and knows his audience. Thus, once again, my superior intellect exposes the plebeian shit in this community. I feel so proud for my achievement, and you should all be jealous for being unable to do what I can. But it's okay, you can always go fap to more Mystic Nexia. After all, he's more talented than me. And since this video came out very short, as a freebie, I will give you my evil laugh, so you can post it as a reply in every retarded comment you come across. So here it comes.
Can't agree with most of your negative points.
This guy doesn't know what he is saying, even when he did talk a lot about it.
Kirito is not antisocial, he is not against it, he is not antagonistic, hostile, menacing, threatening, detrimental, nor unfriendly toward others, except to evil people. He is an introvert, but also has a heart.
You choose to rate such atrociously awful, fanboy things, like Izme Highly, some of the most overrated rubbish to ever grace one's viewing, and then try to seriously write such a poor review for what is frankly one of the best series so far in years.
You are either the most horrible reviewer known to man, or a troll.
I am sorry, mate, but I have enjoyed this anime very much. Yes, it has its stupid moments, but overall I just love the love feeling that this show gives.
All this review is senseless bashing with the intent to piss off viewers.
I stopped reading when he compared it to the Bible, a sure sign of an egotistical idiot. I stopped reading the second time when he tried to explain why the game mechanics are broken. Nothing listed is odd, at all, to anyone who actually plays these games. I'm sorry, but if you are not familiar with the source material, your review is pointless.
Screw you! You've been writing bad reviews on almost every anime I find great.
The movie begins by reminding us how stupid the show was. After openly telling us thousands of people were killed and tortured across several video games, people kept playing them like nothing much had happened. They even go as far as saying, this time there is not going to be any danger, so there is nothing to worry about. Spoiler, there was! Kawahara Reiki has no idea of how normal people behave. They don't simply return back to normal if they survive a death game. If they see someone reusing the same monsters that kept killing them for years, they will go crazy and sue the crap out of the company who dared to make a profit from their tragedy by making such a heartless publicity stunt. But since this is written by a guy who has no idea of normal human behavior, everyone is thrilled at the idea of fighting against the monsters who almost killed them because it will give them lots of points. Video games are serious business. This is also written by a guy who doesn't even know about video games, even though that is the main appeal of his overrated franchise. How are these people using augmented reality without hitting the pedestrians who are not playing the game and are thus invisible when wearing the glasses? Heck, how are they thrown around like ragdolls by fictional explosions? But it's okay, since Kawahara has the perfect answer for that. Here's a joke about a lolly wanting to ride Kirito's bike, if you know what I mean. Then people begin losing their memories of the time they were in the death game, and this is presented as a bad thing, although in the real world this way they wouldn't have PTSD for the rest of their lives, and would count as something positive. And it happens so often the doctors know about it, and yet nobody makes a fuss about it on the news. Not even the victims. Everyone keeps playing video games like nothing matters, because these are not people you're supposed to care about. Then it's revealed the bad guys want to create an artificial intelligence of a deceased girl by stealing the memories of everyone who knew about her, which makes no freaking sense. You can't steal what is not physical, therefore you cannot steal data. You just copy them. It's the same thing as pirating a movie. You never steal the movie, you only make a copy of it. Causing amnesia is a completely different action that can only happen deliberately by sadistic individuals. Also, if the bad guys needed memories to recreate a persona, then their memories were the only ones needed, since they knew the deceased girl better than everyone else in the world. There was no need for any of the crap they did. But you're not supposed to think that, so here's a boob shot to make you stop caring. You are not watching SAO for quality. You are watching it as bottom-tier empowerment fantasy, where you self-insert as a generic OP gamer who defeats everyone and gets all the bitches. The thing is, the movie is not honest about it. It's constantly trying to fool you into thinking it's much more. The bad guys are not one-dimensional rapists for once, and actually feel the consequences of having to deal with the death of a loved one. Something nobody else is doing in the show because they were not written by a normal human being. Unfortunately, the script is all garbage, to the point nothing they do makes any sense. If they could simply steal the memories they needed from all the players in the concert, why did they waste the whole movie in stealing memories from individuals? They could just steal everyone's memories in the concert without giving anyone the time to prepare. Another thing the movie tries to fool you about is Kirito-sama. He may have been undefeatable in virtual reality, but he sucks in augmented reality because you have to be physically fit and he's a total slob. This ends up being yet another thrown-away idea, since despite being completely unexercised, he trains a few days and instantly defeats professionals with athletic bodies. A blatant example of empowerment fantasy ruining good ideas. The movie also lies about making Asuna relevant again. At first, she's a much better player than Kirito, a capable and dynamic woman like in the first episodes when everybody loved her. And then she becomes a damsel in distress once again, before devolving into no more than fan service and a reward for Kirito-sama to save her once again. And thus the movie ends with everything returning to status quo, since memories are something you can steal and return whenever you feel like it, and the characters have no reason to face the consequences of their failures, since SAO is and forever will be garbage, aiming to pander casual gamers who have no idea how normal people think or even how video games work.